Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome to GameFace, episode 469, right here on Sifted at sifted.net. I'm Shane Satterfield. I'm here for the next couple hours of awesome video game discussion, and of course, alongside me to do that, as always, is the incomparable, the one and the only, Matthew Keil. What's going on, Matt?
Oh, there's many of us.
Yeah. Well, many with the same name, but not that are the same, is what I would argue. How's your week been?
It's all right.
Sitting watching the video game industry just drop one of the biggest episodes of GameFace right on our laps.
Yeah, not. Is everyone using AI to make choices already? Are we doing that?
Feels like we're already there.
Feels like, because I know that couldn't have been the Xbox thing because all this started like 15 years ago. But I don't know. They're pretty advanced in there. Maybe they were making dumb choices with computer algorithms long before we even knew.
It's possible. This is the week.
It certainly would explain some of that copy protection stuff.
Yeah. This is the week of bad decisions in the video game industry, which means it creates an opportunity to have an awesome episode of GameFace right here. So hopefully you guys are buckled in and ready to go because it has been a crazy week in the games industry. We're going to talk about Sarah Bond and Phil Spencer leaving Xbox. We're going to talk about PlayStation killing Bluepoint software. Is it software or studios? Studios, I think it is.
I think studio.
Just two of crazy decisions that have kind of rocked the entire games industry. We're going to talk about that. We're going to review High on Life 2. We're going to cover Replace this week. We've got an awesome show for you guys.
Bluepoint Games.
Bluepoint Games. So that's awful on both counts. What did I say? Studios and
software. Software is close.
It's one of the three. It always is one of the three. And it is hard to remember sometimes all the studios, what they call themselves.
Sometimes it's just a random word that you can't remember anyway.
Yeah. I think generally the studios moniker they use if they know they're going to do more than just games, like if they think they're going to do short films or
if they think they're well known or prominent enough that they don't need to specify. Once you find out who, like Respawn didn't need to be Respawn Studio, or anything like that.
Yeah. But didn't they have a title too? I think they did.
Weren't they just Respawn?
I think they had a subtitle. I think they were studios.
Respawn Games or
something like that.
I don't know.
It's kind of crazy, actually, how each studio kind of handles it their own way. Like Naughty Dog is just Naughty Dog.
Right.
It doesn't have a title.
Insomniac was just Insomniac. Back in the day.
Insomniac Games.
Oh, yeah, it was Games.
Yeah.
Didn't they become just Insomniac
I
at some
think
point?
they might be now, but I have an old Insomniac t-shirt that says Insomniac Games
Sucker
on it.
Punch.
Sucker Punch is just one word. It is interesting how they choose how to kind of give their little subtitle for their studios.
Respawn Entertainment.
Entertainment.
See, they can make movies now.
That's right. Yep. Well, welcome to GameFace 469. We got the first episode of GameFace TLDR up over the week. Hopefully you guys enjoyed that. I do realize that for the vast majority of our patrons, that is something that you guys will probably never watch or never use. I totally get that. But the idea is to bring in new folks so we can grow our Patreon and grow our revenue. And I didn't get it done as early as I had hoped, so we did the whole cadence of when it went up on YouTube. The long version of the show went up on Saturday, and then TLDR went up on Sunday. So we'll adjust that as we go. I do think it's a little weird to introduce a cut down of a long show that's already, because like TLDR is already at episode 469, for example. So I don't know if I should start with like the nomenclature over again so people know it's like a new show. Like, I don't know.
It's not really a new show. It's a cut down of 469.
Yeah. I mean, the one thing I've been thinking about lately is it makes it difficult for me as a business owner.
Maybe you could call it TLDR week of this week.
Or just give it a date or something, maybe.
Give it a date.
Maybe. What I've realized, though, is like it's not... When I worked at a major publication, it was much easier to roll out new ideas because you had a built-in audience, a big built-in audience that just came there every day. So if you came up with something and you put it out there, you immediately got the feedback from people to let you know what they liked, what they didn't like. You can make tweaks to it, whatever. When you're working with just your patrons and you have a much smaller group, one, not all of them are engaged. So you have a smaller group of people who actually are engaged and talking to you about things they like and they don't like. But the other problem too is that like there's no way to like tell if it's going to be successful or not. Like, we put up something on Game Trailers, we knew in 5 minutes whether it was going to be a success or not. Now it's like, I would bust my butt on something, put it out there, and it's like, people see it, they're like, oh, TLDR, what's that? Forza, I already started watching Forza. It's just very hard to message things to people when a lot of your traffic is just drive-by traffic. So that is a real struggle that I found myself having with running this business. It's like, how do I grow? Seriously. Like, we tried, we put up those long reviews we were doing last year. Like, our patrons really liked them at first, but they didn't do anything on YouTube, and they didn't grow our revenue. And it's like, that's what we need. And it's just impossible it feels like it's impossible anymore. Anyway, if you're watching this on YouTube and you're like, damn, GameFace is too long, keep your eye out for TLDR. It's up there. I'm not going to give up on it. We're going to keep going here, at least for a few months, and see how it works. Because I don't know what else to do to gain new viewers, other than kind of give them what it seems like they want. So anyway, just the update on TLDR there. It will be up again this week. I'm still working on the cadence on that a little bit. I was really happy with the way the show turned out. I'm sure you didn't watch it because it's just a rerun of what we already did. But working with like our 3-hour show and chopping it down and everything, like I got it down to 1 hour and 7 minutes, the first episode of TLDR, which I was very proud of. And it wasn't that hard, honestly. Like, I didn't have to work that hard. I mean, we had to go frame by frame in the edit, though, because it's like, you and I will talk over each other, and it can be hard to like splice up our conversations sometimes. But otherwise, it wasn't that difficult. It took me a few hours to cut it down, and I was pretty happy with the results. I don't know, a lot of you guys probably didn't watch it, but if you did watch it, give me some feedback on it. Let me know what you think, because obviously I've spent a lot of time and hard work on TLDR, and I'm hoping that it will resonate with some of you guys and girls. A couple housekeeping things before we get going into today's show. Also, I should add, I did take our chat computer home over the break and fixed it, and thought it was fixed, and then I brought it in here to Matt's, and it's still broken. It's right now we're sitting waiting for it to come up like always.
Clearly my electricity's dirty.
I don't know what's going on. It's really crazy, though. I literally fixed the computer. At home, I rebooted it 20 times. I'm not exaggerating. And it booted right up 20 times in a row, and I brought it here and went right back to doing what it did before. So anyway, we're waiting to bring you guys into the show here. Chances are it'll pop up in like 10 minutes, and then we'll get you guys in, but we can't bring you guys into the show just yet. But some housekeeping before we get going. Tomorrow, there is a Treehouse Live. If you remember, first of all, the Treehouse is Nintendo's sort of internal testing department at Nintendo of America. If you remember, around E3, not E3, Summer Game Fest, whatever the hell you want to call it now, they would always do like hour-long demos of every game that they were showing at E3. And they're doing one of those tomorrow. And they haven't talked about the games yet. Well, they did, actually. They're going to show us Mario Brothers Wonder, the Switch 2 version. Yay. And then they're going to show off Pokemon Pokopia, which is on your fantasy team. There was a round of previews about a week ago for that were very, very encouraging, Matt. Did you read those?
No.
They were kind of glowing. Like, that may end up being a real good pick for you, Matt, in our fantasy league. But anyway, they're blowing that game out, which is, they also in those previews, they said it's really not like Animal Crossing. They compared it to Viva Pinata instead of Animal Crossing, which I found to be interesting.
All right.
So everyone just kind of assumed that that's what it was, but they're saying, no, it's really more like Viva Pinata, which is kind of a cool game that Rare put out back in, the 360 era?
360.
Yeah.
Surprised nobody's resurrected that somehow.
Me too, because I thought it was a cool idea. Like, I felt like they brought the sequel out a little too fast, maybe.
Yeah.
But otherwise, I like the concept and everything. So yeah, maybe someday that comes back. Who knows what Rare's up to these days. But anyway, that's happening tomorrow at 2 p.m. Pacific, 5 p.m. Eastern. And of course, it will be up on Sifted, pinned to the top of everyone's Sifts. You won't be able to miss it if you want to check it out. And then another note, you guys should all have your finger on the pulse of what's going on in the industry like we do. And that is that right now, the Steam Next Fest for 2026 is going on. And there is just a deluge of demos up on Steam right now. I would argue the vast majority of them are trash.
Yeah.
Sorting through that stuff can be tough, but again, I mention almost every week that you guys should be using our early access channel on Sifted, because we sift through all those demos and we curate the ones that you guys should be checking out and should be playing. So head on over there. That's what we do at Sifted. We sift through all the crap to give you the good stuff. Like, if you're on YouTube and you're just searching around, like, stop wasting your time. Go to sifted.net.
Yeah, so far I've found 4 that were worth trying.
4?
Yeah.
Want to share those right while you're here?
Oh yeah, I've replaced The Eternal Life of Goldman. The Vampire Survivors follow-up, which I can never remember. Vampire something. It's the card game. The card battler they made. And Planet Full of Cats.
I've not even heard of that one. What is that?
That is an ongoing series of hidden object game. It's a hidden object game that's made by a bunch. Well, in-universe is made by a bunch of cats. All the developers credit themselves as their own cats.
Oh, wow.
So the developer
cool.
messages are all from the developer's cat.
Oh, wow.
But it's all the proceeds benefit shelters.
Oh,
and
great.
all that. And so I think this is like the 10th game or something. They have like castle full of cats and building full of cats and shelter full of cats and flats full of cats and I just on, and they're all just like thematic, like cozy, like search.
They're
for
just
cats.
throwing together games to generate money for rescue.
But they're not like thrown together. They're like they're all hand drawn.
They're worth playing.
Yeah, I think they're worth playing. They're fun little things. There's always hidden secrets and like hidden rooms and stuff. And it's an easy like achievement roundup basically. You can get through the whole when they put a full game out, because sometimes they just put out little single levels. But if you put their full games take about 2 hours to get through, and they cost like $3.
I mean, bottom line is if you like cats, like Matt and I,
oh yeah,
that's a good way to just support cats in general.
Oh yeah. And there is actually a weird kind of ongoing universe in it.
Oh,
Like
really?
There's recurring characters and like
Cataverse
stories, and like you see the same characters show up, and like there's magic. It's very weird. It's
the SPCA verse.
Sorta. But it's a good series. Seems to be made by good people
For a good cause.
Yeah.
Yeah. But keep your eye on that. There's all kinds of crazy demos coming out for Steam Next Fest right now. And again, keep an eye on our early access channel. That's where you'll see all the stuff that we actually skim off the top, because there is just too many that come out for Steam. In fact, my inbox for the last 2 days when I woke up was just like demo for this goofy game that no one's ever heard of that we're going to compare to 5 other games. So you click on our email.
You need something to curate them. So
it would be interesting to see the open rates for a lot of these PR companies.
Oh yeah,
for their emails, where they just send out these emails.
I'm not part of it. I'll tell you that.
I mean, the new thing is every email says key in email,
right.
review code in email, review code waiting for you, blah, 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 trying to get you to click on that email to even just read what their game is about. And almost all of them are like a Souls-like crossed with a roguelike crossed with a match 3 puzzle game.
It's like, you can keep saying it, but I've scrolled through those demo lists and it's mostly porn.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, I mean, that's the truth of it all.
I saw the Japanese TV, was that TV Asahi or whatever, you know, that TV company. They made a live action like FMV porn, like you live with your harem of girlfriends porn game. There's a demo I saw.
Really?
Because I'm like, why is there FMV on this thing? And it's like it's just live action. It's just they basically did like what all the parents thought Night Trap was back in the day.
So there's actual nudity in it?
I guess.
Yeah. Was there nudity in Night Trap?
No, there's nothing like that.
Yeah, I don't think there was.
People in nightgowns.
Yeah. Yeah, without bras on, maybe. That's about as risky as it gets.
I mean, I don't think you can tell.
Really?
Like,
the
video quality's
so
too
blurry.
bad.
You can't see. That's hilarious. Oh, look. Our PC's coming up just in the nick of time, like it always does right here on GameFace. It's hilarious. There we can see our YouTube chat. What's up, YouTube? And right now, our Twitch chat is just loading up, so we'll get you guys into the show here in just a minute. I think that's it, though, for all the housekeeping for episode 469. We're ready to get into the bulk of the show, but before we do that, here's a word from our sponsor, the one and the only, the delicious LS Cream. It's LS Cream, the fine cream liqueur crafted by fellow gamer and sifter Stevens Charles. Inspired by the Haitian drink Cré Mas, LS Cream delivers an award-winning experience with every single pour. One sip and you'll see why. It's a party favorite. The silky blend of fresh cream and premium neutral grain spirits mixes great with everything. I dare you to put a shot in your coffee. I've been drinking it for years and still, I find new combinations that taste incredible. LS Cream is the kind of drink that keeps surprising you thanks to its notes of vanilla, cinnamon, nutmeg, and coconut. Take it to any gathering and watch it steal the spotlight. We've never seen anyone resist. Ready to join the fan club? Head to creamls.com/sifted for recipes, retailers, and online orders. That's creamls.com/sifted. That's right, people. Cré Mas, dad ass, and get yourself some LS Cream. Go to creamls.com/sifted. There's a bottle locator there. There's a store locator there. You can find it locally. You can find it online if you're lucky. Right now, they're having some issues with distribution, but those should be sorted out pretty soon, and we will let you know when that does happen. But if you're adventurous and you're really trying hard, you want to have plenty of time to enter that LS Cream 5K challenge, go to creamls.com/sifted and dig around. You probably can find it. It really is regional. It kind of depends on where you live. So anyway, head to creamls.com/sifted, get yourself a bottle, and enter yourself into the Ellis Cream 5K Challenge. All right, we got a little update from Vincent here, and Vincent does remind me that actually the Pokemon Presents thing is today. It's not tomorrow, and it happens in like an hour. So don't leave. It's going to suck.
Sure.
I mean, truth be told, it probably is not going to be all that interesting.
I mean, I certainly always watch Nintendo stuff after the fact so I can scrub through a little bit, because there's a point at which I can't take any more of the corporate nonsense.
Mm-hmm. And there's enough.
Please be excited. Oh, yeah.
Please be excited, exactly. I think we got you guys in here. I think we're going to get you guys into the show. Let me check real quick. There you are. Welcome, YouTube. Welcome, Twitch. Let's check in with you guys very quickly before we head on with the show here. Treehouse is today. Pokemon Presents is Friday. And we're going to get a bit into that a little bit later. Matt, the new Night Trap game sounds disgusting. What is the name of it so I don't accidentally play it?
I actually can't remember the name of it.
Yeah.
It was another one of those, like, your roommates, I don't know. Just scroll through the demo thing until you see live action Japanese women in bikinis. Like that's what stopped me, because I was like, why is there live action? Oh, there's photos of people. Okay.
Yeah.
And then I saw it was made by the TV station, like the TV company. I was like, that's unusual.
Dark Force 256. What's the name of that game? For research purposes.
Yeah. Where are those photos so I never see them, like, so I can avoid them?
The Catoverse, sign me the F up, Mellow Pintor. Rogerty, thank you for the bit. That's awesome, man.
Yeah, the blank full of cats games are worthy. If you haven't played them, go check them out. Buying the whole series will cost you like $20. Vincent
says the spin-off of Vampire Survivors is Vampire Crawlers.
Right, yeah.
Thank you, Vincent. Talimper says Ashes of the Singularity 2 demo is good.
I haven't seen that one pop up.
Keep those recommendations coming, crew.
It is very hard to sift through all that stuff.
Yeah. And that's why we're here.
Yeah, because oddly enough, Steam does not have a just show me the good ones button.
Yeah.
Which seems to probably be counterproductive.
GF TLDR has a better compression ratio than WinRAR. That's hilarious. Erebus says, you've got to get TLDR out to everyone for free as soon as humanly possible after this finishes. And maybe that's a question I should ask right now, because our patrons obviously watch this show. How do you guys feel about that? About me putting up TLDR like maybe the day after you guys get the long version of GameFace, putting it up for free on our YouTube channel? That could make some moves for us. That might make a difference for us. Let me know how you feel about that. I'm not going to do it unless I get the blessing of our patrons, because obviously you guys are most importante. But that is something that pretty much everyone on Sifted kind of suggested when we put up the first episode of TLDR was, man, just put this up on YouTube immediately. Like, don't even give us any exclusivity on it at all. But I need to know how everybody feels about that, not just the people who were really engaged and kind of saying, like, I think a lot of people at this point are like, we just want to see Sifted blow up. Like, we don't care what it takes. We just want to see it blow up. And if that's kind of how you're feeling, let me know, because that's what I'll do. I'll put up TLDR like the day after or something for free on YouTube. We got to make moves here. We got to do something. So that's what we're trying. Thank you, Erebus, for the feedback. Drip feed clips of GameFace on YouTube before. I don't know how many more times people are going to suggest this. We've done that like 3 times. And it did nothing. All it did was
more and more, like, the YouTube Shorts things have been touted as sort of like your shortcut to success, but that, like, the success stories in that are like 2 out of 1,000 kind of stuff. Like, I certainly know a couple channels that did blow up because of YouTube Shorts, but like I know a couple.
Yeah, I'm not even talking about Shorts though. He's talking about like just clipping out our talk about Xbox Manager Shakeup and putting that on YouTube like immediately. We did that back when we did the last time we really did it was when we were trying to do Sifted 2.0 and then COVID hit. We were doing it during that and it did nothing. All it did was take away views from the base show. So we ended up getting basically the same views, maybe a couple extras, but it was a lot more work for me. So
yeah, well, the idea is that you flood the zone with the shorter stuff, because then you get eyes on that. It maybe breaks through the algorithm in a way that the longer ones don't.
The shorts are doing nothing for us anymore. Literally nothing. When we first started, we were getting a couple that were doing pretty good views. Now, literally every short of ours does the same exact number of views. When it hits that number, it just dies. It really feels like YouTube just controls who succeeds. Like, literally, it doesn't matter. Like, a short will start out great, It'll have way more views than most of our shorts, and when it gets to that number, it just dies every single time. Like, I don't know. YouTube to me, it feels like it just picks the winners. I don't think there's anything you can do or any behavior you can. I don't think any of it matters. Like, I really don't. Like, I also feel like we would be better off if we just started a new YouTube channel. Instead, it feels like because our channel has existed for so long that YouTube's just like, yep, that's what that channel does, and that's it. Like, I really feel like if we just started some goofy new YouTube channel, we'd probably get more views in like a month. Like, that's just how messed up it is. But anyway, Red Fox be paintball, no problem for me. I guess they're talking about TLDR. Mm-hmm. Nabazel Faye says your only method of growing is getting other big podcasters on here and going on their show. We did that for a while too. I was going on lots of podcasts when we first launched, and that also didn't do anything. Like, I went on Colin Moriarty's podcast, and honestly, that is the only podcast I ever went on that did anything. And we did get some other users even came and said, "Hey, I saw you on your on Colin's show, and you impressed me. I'm going to be your patron." And we got like a little bump of patrons after that. And then within like a month, they had all left and they were gone. So anyway, it's just the ongoing, never ending story of trying to crack the magic nut that is YouTube. And it just feels impossible. I work so hard. I do everything exactly how everyone says to do it. Go look at the descriptions of our clips on YouTube. They're literally by the letter, every element of them. And it does not matter. Nothing matters. It's so frustrating. I've never been so frustrated in my life. I've never worked so hard in my life for nothing. Mm-hmm. It's crazy how much time I put into this stuff, and it doesn't matter.
Yeah, I mean, that is pretty much what I hear from everyone who does YouTube stuff.
I mean, I used to hear it from streamers a lot more. They'd be like, man, I'm streaming 6 days a week, and I'm streaming 8 hours a day. And
that seems to have kind of fallen by the wayside, as like people just don't like people don't like do the hustle on that the same way anymore. Also,
I think Obi-Wan got it right, though. He says, if you want a successful YouTube channel, just hate the industry and be negative. Just rage bait. That's it.
Is pretty much.
Like, you got to stop watching this crap. That's the problem. If people didn't watch it, they wouldn't do it. So stop watching this horrible content. It's dragging the rest of YouTube down.
But nobody you're talking to right now.
I know. They know already. They're not watching it. Yeah. I know. Maybe a few people who watch the YouTube version of the show are. I don't know. Maybe. I don't know. It's fucking crazy. It's just insane. I mean, I'm a hard worker. Like, I have a crazy work ethic. I just always have. I've never in my life worked so hard on something with no reward. Mm-hmm. Like, even some tough things in my life. Like, I stuck it out, and, like, eventually it came through. It just never happens.
Well, the advantage we had back in the day was that most of the stuff we were working hard on still aired on broadcast television or cable television, one way or the other.
Yeah.
And, like, you knew when you put something on a Viacom channel, you knew it was going to all those cable boxes, whether people turned it on or not. Mm-hmm. And with YouTube, you just don't know where anything's.
Yeah.
I see channels with literally millions of subscribers complain about the exact same thing these days. Like, it's you're working against an arcane system that gives no hints about
it's very frustrating being a hard worker and dealing with this. Mm-hmm. Like, if I was a slacker and I was like, I don't care, we'll do GameFace at whenever and Pactor Factor whenever, and we won't. The other part that really confuses me is how we recognize our fans. Because we recognize, look at right now, what are we doing, Matt? We are putting our fans into the show. We've been up for 10 minutes with these folks. Nobody does this. Nobody cares about their fans. Nobody recognizes their fans. We do this in GameFace. We probably have you guys in our show for like 45 minutes of every episode of GameFace.
Yeah, maybe you should change the name of the show to OnlyFans.
Maybe. In Pactor Factor, I bust my butt.
That'll help the search algorithm.
Yeah, I mean, Pactor Factor, I bust my butt to put the scroll on the bottom of the show with all your Twitch Prime stuff. Nobody does that. We have our crawl during this show that shows all our page. Nobody does that. Does that matter either? Does recognizing our fans not matter?
Well, it's funny because like tons of people do that. You just don't see it in the video game space for whatever reason.
Yeah.
And I don't know why.
Or in video
every
games,
channel I watch does that.
Best case scenario with
gaming,
out,
scrolls people
Flash.
at the bottom, throws them at the end. There are the big credits at the end, whatever. But like I don't see it on video game podcasts for whatever reason. Also, the video game like YouTube channels that I like follow and watch regularly have like maybe 1 million to 2 million subscribers, and then you look at the ones that just scream about like woke and DEI and how everyone's an idiot, and they have like 14 million. Mm-hmm. Like, you don't get anywhere by being a reasonable person in this.
It doesn't feel like it.
Media soup.
It really doesn't feel like it. Z3R009 asked, if you give TLDR first, why would anyone watch the longer version later? Because obviously, I guess it depends on if you like the people that are in the show and you want to get to know them better. Mm-hmm. Because TLDR cuts out this. It cuts out these off-the-cuff conversations that we have, our non sequiturs, our tangents. If it's a good tangent, I'll leave it in. But like a lot of that stuff where I'll tell a story for 10 minutes, I'll cut that out. Like the long format GameFace gives you this. Us incorporating you guys into the show, you guys, the interaction between us.
And definitely listen to the Cthulhoops in the YouTube chat right now who's giving out demo suggestions for Steam because he knows his stuff, as we know.
There you go, in our YouTube chat. We can't leave you guys up much longer anyway. We do need to get on with the show. But anyway.
Freeze it and look at what he's putting in there and then
there you go.
Download those demos.
Yeah, thank you for doing that, Cthulhu.
Cthulhoops.
That's awesome.
It's Rob.
Who is it?
It's Rob.
Oh, that's Rob Manuel.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, I didn't know what his handle was over on YouTube. Thank you,
That's
Rob.
been his handle forever.
Rob is the god of indie games, for sure. If you're going to listen to anybody about indie games, he's your man. What is he on Twitch? He has a different username there.
I don't remember.
Like Smiley or something like that, or something like some interesting name.
He'll say it.
Yeah. Anyway, listen to Cthulhoops. He knows what he's talking about.
Yeah.
Okay. Now that you guys listen to me vent for the last 10 minutes, and look, I just want to make one thing clear. I bring you guys into our content and recognize you guys because I want to. It's not because I have to or someone's telling me that it's like best practices or anything like that. I respect you guys and I appreciate you guys. Like
You should try that. I think YouTube's got a point. The thumbnail for this episode, just put Xbox is doomed in big red letters.
Yeah.
Next to it.
See
what happens.
I've watched those videos too, where they all use the same font, and
it's like the same lettering as the comedy movies with the white posters.
It's like the yellow, almost like comic style, like drawn font, and it's all in the shorts. And I know what you're talking about. I just don't want to lower myself to that, but I'm gonna have to, I guess. I don't know.
That is how it works.
It is kind of how it works, yeah. And we need to put our faces in
the
thumbs,
man,
too.
I also see tons of like some of the things that they do that, like the thumbnail is something like that, and you watch it and it's not right.
It's not even that at all.
It's literally just
it's bait.
Like there's like things
you're fishing. You're throwing the bait out there. You're trying to reel them in.
I saw there was a bunch of things talking about 2XKO this week that looked like total clickbait nonsense, and it kept popping up. So finally, I'm like, okay, what do you say? And of course, it was like the thumbnail was just like it's like product slop infests fighting game community and shit. And like you watch the video, and it's like super reasonable commentary that has absolutely. I'm like, okay, so that's all. But again. I saw it.
Yeah.
Like it broke through. Like it's a channel I'd never watched before because I really don't watch many fighting game channels beyond like Maximilian Dude and like Matt McMuscles or whatever, if you want to call him a fighting game or like Justin Wong. Yeah. But like I saw it. Like it broke through the algorithm.
Yeah, it's not. Look, I want to recognize you guys and thank you guys. That's why I do it. That's why I go the extra mile. But I'm one dude doing this for you guys. Look at some of these other gaming Patreons that have all these people. They do nothing to recognize you. Nothing. Best case scenario at the end, flash. There's a screen with 500 names on it that you'll never read. It doesn't feel like it matters, like people care. Like, I don't know. It's bizarre to me. The whole thing's bizarre. I've never worked in an environment like this in my life where it doesn't feel like there's any rhyme or reason to anything that you do. It's hard for me to... I'm an organized... I started SIFTD. I like to keep things organized and in little buckets. And like working on YouTube can't happen. It doesn't happen. So anyway, thanks for listening to my rant. I appreciate it. This will be cut out of TLDR, by the way. The CEO of Xbox, was that her title?
I think... No, she was something else. Because I think she resigned because she was not being promoted to CEO of Xbox.
Well, we'll get to why she stepped down. That's going to be an interesting discussion trying to figure that out.
But bottom line I don't think it's that difficult.
Phil says he's retiring. Do you believe that?
I mean, I think he took a huge severance payout. I think he took a golden parachute.
So he could say he was retiring to get the severance?
I mean, it does not strike me as though this was planned. By either of them.
If you dig in...
Sarah Bond was putting up polls about Xbox that morning.
Sarah Bond, definitely not.
No.
Phil, though, if you start digging into the story, so apparently last February, he took a very long vacation.
He did, but last July, he said he wasn't going to step down anytime soon.
He didn't. Their PR, their publicity person said he's not going to step down anytime soon because he came back from that vacation and people were like, damn, he was gone for a long time. People said that he wasn't returning emails about important stuff, and people were like, is he coming back ever? And then he did come back, and that's when people in the office started talking about it, and that got out. Yeah, Someone reported on it, and then that's when their PR person stepped in and said, not anytime soon.
I don't think any of that has anything to do with this. Well, I think this is a very recent development.
Well, the rest of the story is Phil claims that last fall he went to Sadella, the head of Microsoft, and told him, he's like, I'm done. Like, I'm ready to get out of here. And that's when they started working on his exit plan, how it was all going to happen. Now, that announcement was not supposed to come out when it did. IGN caught wind of it and was going to post a story about it, and they wanted to get out ahead of IGN, so they actually ended up releasing that information a few days earlier than they wanted to. And then IGN, and one thing I do regret is that when all this happened, I was very busy. I had been shooting Pactor Factor all day, and in the middle of Pactor Factor, this news broke. And we recorded an episode of Pactor Factor Live about it, which is live right now for our patrons. But I was just in scramble mode. I got done with that shoot that lasts like 3 hours. I drive up from Long Beach. The drive was awful. The traffic was terrible. I get home. I'm like scrambling to get the story up on SIFTD, and I did not take the time to track down the outlet that broke the story. And so my regret is, as someone who runs SIFTD and someone who cares very much about journalistic integrity and rewarding those who do the reporting.
The good news is you're the last one who cares about that.
I am.
In the world.
But I do care.
Yeah.
And I regret that I pushed you guys to Kotaku's story about that instead of IGN's. IGN broke this story and should get credit for breaking the story. I just wanted to get that out there. And so they
Even
got
like real news doesn't do that anymore.
You're probably right. So anyway, IGN, as soon as Microsoft puts the news out, they had their story ready, and boom, they just published it, and there it was.
Yeah, as you'll recall, this was kind of one of my predictions at the beginning of the year, or whatever, when we did those predictions. I just thought it was going to happen in the wake of Fable coming out.
Well, my prediction was that by the end of the year, every Xbox game would be multi-platform. And I don't know if that's going to come true or not now.
I mean, I think it will. Other than Forza Horizon 6, I think it will. And maybe Forza Horizon 6 makes it by the end of the year, 6 months later. No, I think both of those are. I mean, I said big Xbox shakeup in management, but I thought it was going to be after sort of. I thought Fable was going to mark kind of the end of the current regime's like attempts.
Yeah.
You know, whether it was successful or not, it seemed like everyone was just going to be. Like Phil was going to be kind of done with it. Like, what else can you really do after that? Like, you got everything as back on track as you could, and good luck, everybody, kind of thing. And then this happened, you know. Maybe it was something about he wants to get out, but like, it really seems like Phil's restlessness or willingness to sort of be over this to be done coincided nicely with Microsoft's desperation to shove AI and Copilot into everything and anything, and here we are.
Yep, so the final note of that is Phil Spencer out, Sarah Bond out. Sarah Bond, according to most reports, really only figured it out like a few weeks beforehand, because she said that she had been working with this new person whose name is Asha Sharma. She said that she's been working with Asha for 3 weeks, like transitioning her over to the job. So they did know about 3 weeks in advance, but again, the reason she was caught off guard and was still posting polls and stuff was they weren't supposed to announce it for a few more days. And so that's why she kind of got caught with her pants down a little bit. So anyway, Asha Sharma, she looks like she's like 28 years old. And she comes from Microsoft's AI department, which has not been successful.
No.
As hard as Microsoft pushes it.
It's an AI department. Yeah.
But you look at like ChatGPT and stuff like that, like they actually have like some traction where people are like using it.
They have no revenue.
Right.
But people know about them.
People are talking about it. They're using it.
There are people who don't hate ChatGPT, which is probably better than anything Copilot can claim.
And right now, like my wife has to work in that environment.
Like even like job. AI people like who are big fans of AI are like, get this Copilot
crap out of my.
Like, it's like like even among AI believers, Copilot is sort of like the dumbass of the group. Because it's like, it doesn't do anything.
Well, my wife works at a major corporation, and she said that like as soon as Copilot was introduced into their whole ecosystem, that all the people that you used to get emails from where it was all broken and like you could tell they were like pecking with one finger. Their emails now are like flawless, and like she's just like, it's weird. Like,
I have a couple friends. I'm like, why are there M dashes in your fucking text messages all of a sudden?
I actually use M dashes all the time writing, but you're right.
Well, because journalists do use M.
Right.
The reason AI uses M dashes all the time is because tons of professional writing and like, yeah, like tons of journalistic writing uses them because that's part of the format and part of the style guide, and so that's why it does that. But casually, people don't generally do that.
Joe Blow does not use M dashes. It definitely does not.
Well, especially because it requires a different character usage.
Yeah.
Like it's so dumb.
Yeah.
But it's like it's Copilot itself is just what do you I mean,
my wife doesn't use it, but she can tell all the people now at her company that are using it.
Well, they made what, the Notepad, the Notepad app became like a backdoor like security risk all of a sudden because
now Notepad's gone. They removed it from Windows 11. I use it all the time because it strips all the formatting out of text, and I use it to like copy and paste stuff from the internet and stuff like that. I had to find a hack to get it back into Windows 11.
Did you see that guy who accidentally took control of 7,000 remote control vacuums?
No.
I can't remember the name of the brand, but he bought it. It was like like a Roomba style thing.
Yeah.
And he didn't want to use the app that came with it. He wanted to control it himself.
Mm-hmm.
So he used some AI. I don't remember which AI it was, but he used some AI, Claude probably, and he used it to wanted to use it to jailbreak the vacuum, but it went in and it dug up like the user ID verification tag for the vacuum, and it turned out that the company had not put a requirement for individual ID security tags for each vacuum, so he had direct access to every single vacuum, and they all have cameras in them, so he could just watch every single person who had this vacuum. He's like, here's a guy eating cereal, and
oh my god,
they plugged it, but it's like these companies are putting these things out with no authentication, with
they're not
no
testing
thought,
this stuff or thinking about it,
no security ID.
They're like, we'll break it and then we'll deal with the consequences later.
Like people made fun of me for not wanting a Google Home in my house like years ago, and I'm like, I feel like I'm pretty vindicated.
I don't need a bunch of cameras inside my house.
You're putting cameras in your house, like that's I don't know what you're doing, folks. I mean, I have them outside, but like
not inside.
I don't, so we can watch our dogs. I'm like, it's so a lot of people can watch your dogs. Turns out, So it's good luck with those new Xbox PCs because they're not gonna. Basically, you're gonna have to tell Copilot you want to launch Halo 5 or whatever. It's not gonna let you press a button anymore. It sounds like.
Well, I have a handful of questions that I want to answer through this, and hopefully you and I can get to the bottom of it. The first one I want to answer is, why did this happen? Is this because of Game Pass? So here's the thing. A lot of people are blaming Sarah Bond because she was the person who had to execute a lot of these plans. But again, if you start digging into, like The Verge did a great report where it talked to Microsoft employees. If you start digging into that, like most of the people that are saying that worked there, that these were Phil's ideas and Sarah was the one who had to execute them. Which
is how the hierarchy would
that's usually how it works. Now, if you also read that report by The Verge, which was great, by the way, they talk about how people were not enjoying working around Sarah Bond. Although they did say this was Sarah Bond's idea, this is an Xbox. They said that was all her idea, and everybody at Microsoft hated it. But generally,
I mean, if this is the direction you're going, what else can you do?
Yeah,
like I thought that was one of the few smart things they did was to sort of take away the idea that an Xbox has to be this console you buy, because if this is the direction you're going with the brand, what other choice do you have? You have to turn it into a label instead of a brick, basically.
Yeah. So people said that she is catching flack for a lot of stuff that Phil Spencer thought was a good idea. But to your point, Matt, I think you were right on the money when you said that she left because she didn't get Phil's job.
Yeah.
Like when Phil went to them in November of last year and said, hey, I'm leaving, instead of them talking to Sarah about getting that job, they probably talked to a bunch of people and then hired Asha, who has literally has never worked a day
no game industry
in the video game. Is that good or bad?
At this point, who cares?
Does it even matter?
Does it matter? I mean, is anyone able to save this?
That's one of my last questions. That we're going to get to in a minute.
Like, that's my thing. Is like, does it mean? I mean, I'm certainly skeptical in the sense that I don't think the person who ran the AI division that's going down in flames is probably the best. But then who knows? Like, no one could save that AI division. No one could make Copilot a success, I don't think. So I don't think I really want to judge her by the performance of the AI division.
Yeah, I get that.
So, but, like, I don't know, man. Like, Sarah Bond seems to have gotten a pretty good payout one way or the other, so it's like maybe it's better to get off the ship at this point. I mean, I understand, like, you're following Phil's orders for however long and having to deal with all the dumb, boneheaded decisions that have been happening, and maybe you wanted your own shot at making your own choices on this, but, like, I don't know. Like,
her not being a gamer, to me, at first my knee-jerk reaction was like, oh, that sucks, because she just got her first achievement like 5 weeks ago. Like, she literally is not a gamer at all.
I don't think you need to be a gamer to run a company properly.
I agree, because we've had a hardcore gamer running Xbox for the last 20 years.
Yeah.
Phil Spencer is a legitimate hardcore gamer. It's not fake. That's who he is. And look at what happened. It didn't work. So, to me, Asha not being a gamer, that's not a detriment to me.
No, like, it's sort of like we've had an expert opinion, now let's see what a non-expert opinion can do, sort of thing.
Or just someone who comes in with fresh eyes and looks at things in a different way and just looks at things from a business perspective instead of some other way. But to me, that could be an advantage, I think. But
it's just, I don't think it matters. I think everything seems to be on fire over there right now in terms of, like, sort of longevity, and especially in terms of, you know, trying to launch these handhelds that can't be manufactured anymore because of the chip shortages and expenses, and trying to launch these little PCs that are now Xboxes that are probably also going to be hit with crazy amounts of inflation on parts and stuff. Like, I would not want to be in charge of Xbox right now.
It's a tough gig.
Yeah.
There's no doubt about it.
But maybe if you're working near the head of the Copilot AI division, you're like, hey, this has got to be better than what we're doing now, right?
Yeah.
Because it feels like that's headed for a wall at some point. So maybe this is her escape. It seems like Xbox as a brand would probably coast on inertia longer than her previous division. So maybe that'll work out okay. But, like, I don't know. I mean, I saw, like, Seamus was posting it. Was just like, well, I guess that's the end of. He's like, I guess that's the end of that. Basically, it's like,
I have his quotes here. His quotes, I copied and pasted them because they're all like, one, he is one of the co-founders of Xbox.
Oh yeah.
So he totally gets it. But also, some of his quotes were very cutting. Like, he didn't pull any punches.
That dude was always very sharp. I remember I met him at GDC right after I started working full time at Tech TV, and, like, Sessler and them introduced me to him, and I talked to him for a little while because it was right after they were launching the first Xbox. It was at GDC where they were showing. They'd already shown the Silver X the year before, but this was like they were showing, like, the
real
final,
thing,
real thing, because it was launching that fall, and so it was 2001. And he and right before he had to leave, he had to go do something else at that whatever party we were at. But right before he left, he shook my hand. He goes, keep these guys honest. And I was like, oh, I will. And he walked off. And a week later, he left Xbox or something like that. It was. I was like, oh, okay. Like,
well, his quote was this is his exact quote: "The new CEO will be a palliative care doctor who slides Xbox gently into the night."
Yeah. No.
He believes that Asha is being brought in to basically sunset Xbox. I don't believe that.
I don't think that's what she's being brought in to do, but I think it is what's
going to happen.
Have to do. Like, I in the sense that, yeah, I don't think they're telling her, like, you are coming in to basically hook the suicide machine up to Xbox and let them press the button. But I think that will indeed be what has to be done.
Now, she's been up on social media.
I think Xbox will continue as a publishing label,
yeah,
as we've said before. I don't think you get rid of the revenue of making these games and publishing them on PlayStation and PC and pulling that in. But as a console, yeah, Xbox is over.
So Asha was on social media, and of course, the Xbox gamers are all over her. They're like, hey, what's your gamer tag? She gives them the gamer tag. They go and check. They see that her first achievement was 5 weeks ago. They're starting to get suspicious. They start saying to her, like, hey, you guys should go back to the old model where you just sell your games. And she replies to them and says, I'm listening. Like, that might be on the table. Do you think that Game Pass is going to sort of go onto the back burner and they're going to focus on their consoles and selling their exclusive games again?
I don't think they'll focus on their consoles. I think hardware is a dead end for them right
Yeah.
now. But I do think moving past the Game Pass experiment and maybe just going back to a more traditional method of we are going to sell you a product and get money for that is might be the correct choice.
Yeah.
Because it seems to be working. I mean, the only thing you can really look at as a tangible, concrete success in recent times of Xbox is Forza Horizon 5 on PlayStation. Like, that is a hit.
Yeah, big hit.
There is a thirst and desire to pay for that content.
Yeah.
And I do not see any reason not to follow that up.
Yeah, I agree. Seamus also said, in reference to Asha, he said, talking about her dealing with gamers because she's never had to before. And a lot of people don't get it unless they've worked in a space.
Yeah, someone might want to show her how to lock down her DMs or something.
He said, here's his quote. That's the wall she's about to discover and hit. Like a lot of things in life, you can be told something is the way it is. And everyone new who comes in thinks they can handle it. But when they actually have to handle it, they get crushed. Then you say to them, I told you that you're going to have to handle this. Some people make it through and some people don't. And that's true.
Yeah.
I mean, that's true for what we do. Like, you have to have thick skin. Like,
Seamus has been doing this for a long time.
As long as we have. He gets it. He's been in the industry. He knows the gamers. He knows what this market is. Asha has no clue. But she's going to figure it out real fast as soon as she makes one decision.
Right. You can be told, no one can be told what the Matrix is. You have to discover it for yourself.
Yeah. And that is kind of what it's like to work in this space for sure. We're very fortunate. I mean, we got pretty much a really awesome crew of people that kind of follow us. Like, we don't have to police our chat for jerks or anything like that. Like, people have just kind of figured out we don't deal with that crap. But for most people, you have to work in a big publication with a lot of people. They're dealing with the same stuff you and I were dealing with 10 years ago. Still, they've had to keep dealing with it. And that's a lot.
And you would, too, if you had like 1 million
subscribers.
You're
right. You're absolutely right.
You can't police that.
I mean, that's one thing I don't miss is like death threats or people calling my boss telling him to fire me. Like, that happened all the time. 13-year-old kids calling Viacom's HR. I'm not kidding. Like, HR would be like, hey, this 12-year-old just called me and told me we should fire you, Shane. And I'm like, what? Like, that stuff happened all the time. And I'm sure she's going to start dealing with the same crap. Like, and that was just because we gave Metal Gear Solid a 9.3 instead of a 10. So anyway, Asha, I think Blackley's right. Like, Asha's about to find out some things about this community for sure. So you don't think that the consoles are going to come and kind of step up and be like on the front of mind instead of Game Pass going forward?
I don't think either.
Because she did say the console's still coming. She mentioned that.
They're going to try it, but I don't think it's going to matter. Like, I think you can try. Yeah, you can give lip service to that idea as much as you want, but they are not going to make a dent in anything other than the wallets of the few people dumb enough to buy them. Frankly. Yeah. And I don't think that's really entirely Microsoft's fault. Like, these things are just going to cost a lot to make because of how much RAM costs and how much graphics cards cost. I mean, there's no way around that.
Yeah,
like, there's no way around the AI price hikes of all these components, and there's no way around the tariffs for now.
Yeah.
So what?
Even though they were struck down, they're just going to ignore the law.
Yeah. Well, it turns out that if you just ignore things and nothing happens, it's not really illegal.
It didn't really happen.
No.
It's crazy. But I'm not surprised. Another question. Is it too late for Xbox to change course? Is this a Titanic situation where there's no way to turn the ship away from the iceberg at this point?
I think so. I mean, I don't think the ship has to sink. I think the ship has to pivot into being an island, basically. Basically, I think you can turn Xbox into a publishing arm, a brand. But I think its time as a platform is over. I'm sure they'll try again in 20 years or something, but like, I don't see a way to salvage this again in the face of just the monolith that is PlayStation and the energy of Switch. Like, I don't see how you compete with those two things.
So they launched a new console. It tanks. What happens?
I think the new console kind of languishes. They don't make a second run of them. They continue to make the Rogue allies if Rogue can still produce units at that point. We'll see what things cost by then. But you continue making your software and you continue publishing your software on every platform you can get it on.
Just doing what they're doing right now, basically.
Right now,
and keep Game Pass going.
Keep Game Pass going, but it's not really your focus anymore.
What do you do about Game Pass though?
If you can't get Game Pass on PlayStation forget it.
Or what about on Netflix or something like that?
I don't see how you get these games on that. I mean, I guess you do like cloud stuff.
You just partner and cloud it, yeah.
But there's no like, what does that get you, really?
Less of the money, because you're going to have to give Netflix a
I think
cut.
it's much better to just try to sell copies. Sell copies of games.
Physical, not well, it doesn't matter.
Either
Physical
way.
or digital.
Probably digital, most likely. Sell copies of games on game platforms. You know, the business model that has sustained this medium for 45 years.
Yeah.
Maybe try that for a change.
Yeah, but I mean, I think the problem too, though, is that like that model is also failing more slowly than Xbox.
It is
failing.
It is, but as we'll get into later, Sony is leaving you that window.
It is.
So
a door. Step through that door. Seriously.
Because you know what Xbox is making that Sony isn't? Single-player fucking video games.
Yeah.
Like games you can play however you want that aren't like lifestyle online games. Mm-hmm. They've got Forza. They've got Fable. They've got Outer Worlds 2. They've got all the Obsidian stuff. They got Fallout 4 Anniversary Edition coming up if you want to count that. Mm-hmm. They've got Elder Scrolls one day. Like they're still making the things Sony is now refusing to make. So there's a niche for them there.
It feels a little bit like what I was saying earlier about how we're doing GameFace TLDR, and it's hard to message to people a change in something that's been going on for a long time. I feel like Microsoft and Xbox with Game Pass and everything might be in that same boat, where it's like everybody now is like their Game Pass, and they don't really care about consoles anymore, and that's just who Xbox is now. And now trying to change that messaging after 5 years of kind of pounding the pavement with that same messaging over and over again, it can be hard to reverse. So as far as like, is it too late for Xbox to change? It does feel like it is to me. It feels like it's too late.
I don't know what Game Pass is anymore if you're not making Xbox hardware anymore. Like, I mean, I guess it's useful as a PC thing, but if you can't find a way to convince Sony to let you put Game Pass on PlayStation, what is it for anymore?
Yeah.
I mean, it's basically just become Games for Windows Live for the 5th time.
No, you're
at
right.
That point.
Well, it's like the price for Game Pass at $30 right now. I think about it every month when it rolls over and I get charged that $30. And I look at what's coming. I'm like, should I keep it? Should I get rid of it? And I keep it because I need it for work, basically.
I killed it immediately when they hiked the price.
And I can understand why a lot of people would.
I still have the PC one, but that's way cheaper than...
Yeah, way cheaper. So it's like, one thing I will say is like, we're going to talk about like a High on Life 2. It's on Game Pass. And for a long time here on the show, when we start talking about games that are on Game Pass, it almost felt kind of pointless. Because you're like, well, we can sit here and talk about this game for 15 minutes. But in the end, you could have downloaded it in that amount of time and just played it for yourself and checked it out yourself. That's really not the case anymore. Like, I feel like there's value in reviewing games that are on Game Pass now because it's $30 a month. It's a real commitment now. I don't look at it like it's basically free as a part of this $10 that you pay every month. These games, to me, cost real money now. And so that's a big change that was brought on by increasing the price. So maybe decreasing the price, but again, it's so hard to message that out.
Look at the chat has the duality of Game Pass right there in front of you.
Fire Native, Game Pass will be on PS5 or PS6. Which one is Switch 2 and PC? Erebus Jones, Game Pass will never be on PS5 or Switch. Let's bring that up, actually. You just got to see it. The dichotomy of the internet chat. Oh, people just jumped in here, actually, before I could show it. Let me scroll up. There it is. Fire Native and Erebus Jones. Two polar opposite opinions listening to the same discussion.
GameFace.
Seriously. During Sweet Show 360 was...
I gotta rebalance the washer because it's beeping at us.
Yeah, Quister says what I said. Good luck trying to convince an audience you trained to never buy games to start paying $70 again and stick with your console. It might be easier to de-brainwash a certain route. Yeah, I mean, seriously, Quickster, like, it's like Microsoft and Xbox have spent hundreds of millions of dollars on this. On not even just making Game Pass, but promoting Game Pass and getting people on board with Game Pass and convincing them that it's a good idea. And for them to subscribe it initially for $10 or $15 and now at $30, I think it's a harder sell. But yeah, it's like when you spend that kind of money and you pound the pavement with that message so consistently, it makes it almost impossible to tell somebody something different about that product or that brand. And so I feel like that is a wall that Xbox is going to be coming up against here real soon if they decide that they want to go back to the old model. Look, the fans, I don't even know how many Xbox fans are left at this point. The fans will latch on right away and they'll get it, but those aren't the people that are going to make your business successful. You have to reach beyond your fanboys to make a platform successful. So I think it's too late to change course. That's what I'm getting at. I think you can't. Like, at this point, you've put too many resources into telling people about the story that you're telling.
I mean, I think the smart thing to do would be to cut it all off and just be like, we are a publisher now. Mm-hmm. We are a brand. Xbox games, basically.
Yeah.
Like, we have a fleet of studios. We have an armada of people making good games, and we're going to put them out on all the platforms we can put them on, and we would like you to buy them. Like, that's the end of Xbox as a console. It's the end of Game Pass as a service because there's nothing to put it on anymore. Maybe you keep it under a different name under the PC banner just because like PC is a slightly different world in that regard. But they're not going to do that because they have to do the corporate thing where they try to act like this was always the plan and everything's fine and nothing is going wrong and this was always what Game Pass was going to become. This is always what Xbox was going to become. Like, they have to pretend like this is not a pivot. Like, this is not...
This is all a part of the plan.
Red alert. There's no what that red light is just for mood. It's just a tone. You know, it's like there's and if they could just be honest about it, it would be a lot easier to just be like, hey, the last 15 years have all been basically for nothing, and we have to completely change our approach, and we need you to kind of come with us on that.
Yeah.
And so maybe we'd just like to say, hey, sorry about the Game Pass bullshit. It was worth trying it.
Well, I think it was a good idea when it was $15.
Yeah, absolutely. But
now that it's $30.
And again, a lot of people, including I think Pactor, for a long time were saying like they can't spend this amount of money on this forever.
Yeah.
And at some point, the chicken's got to come home to roost. And apparently,
that's what
happened.
Yeah.
And it's well, here we are.
Do you believe Asha when she says that she's not going to bring AI into the Xbox brand? She even used the trigger word AI slop in her statement, which...
Well, no, that is exactly why she used it.
Right.
Is because...
that's what I'm getting at. She knows that triggers people.
Right, but like, I'm sure she doesn't think what they're going to bring in is AI slop.
She doesn't think AI slop exists.
No, she does.
Does she?
Even AI people know that there's bad AI. I mean, basically to them, AI slop is anything that Copilot doesn't make, probably. I mean, when you think about it.
Seriously, though, yeah. That's how all the AI companies think.
But like...
The slop is the other
AI
the
other
company.
guys. Yeah, we don't do that. Mm-hmm. Again, that's just qualifying it. You know, she didn't say we're not going to bring AI in. She said we're not going to bring AI slop in.
Yeah.
And so the argument would just be like, what we make is not slop. That's all that
So
is.
your answer is yes. She's going to bring AI into Xbox.
I don't even think it's her choice.
Yeah.
I think
that's why she was put in there.
Absolutely. I think it's a mandate from the top of the top.
Yeah. We got to get AI into everything.
They have invested $130 billion into this stupidity. Like, they have to look busy.
They got to make it happen. Yeah.
A lot of AI stuff right now. It's just like everybody look like it's working.
Yeah.
You know, because otherwise the investors lose confidence and no one gives you any more money, and then everything collapses and we realize we're in a depression.
I got into a heated discussion with Pactor about AI during our last recording session. It was off camera, but it was pretty heated because he definitely believes in it wholeheartedly. He definitely thinks it's going to happen and it's going to be a big thing, and like
what? Like AGI?
He doesn't think all of it's good, but he does think that, like, he thinks for commercial use, like people, like big companies will license the AI from these AI companies. He's not so convinced that people like us are going to pay for it or use it all that much, but he thinks like the enterprise licenses that they sell to all these big media companies or all these big Fortune 500 companies, that's where they're going to make their money.
But to do what?
Just to integrate their AI into their business suites and all that stuff.
But to do what? That's always the question that they can't answer. But to do what?
To replace humans, basically.
But to do what?
Every company's different.
Right, but that's exactly it. AI isn't.
Yeah.
The more different something is, the harder the AI will. I mean, I know if you've already got things where, like, you know, the woman, I can't remember who she worked for, which one she worked for, but it was the woman. Maybe it was that AI that basically can handle your online store for you. I can't remember the name of it now.
Yeah, I don't remember either.
But it was the woman who's in charge of basically making sure that the AI doesn't do stupid shit.
Good luck.
And she told this story about how like it was gonna like suddenly sell the whole thing off or something at a super discount or something, and she couldn't make it stop from her, and she'd already told it not to do that, like set up the parameters not to do it, and it's like, oh, I'm gonna do it anyway, and I know you told me not to, but I'm about to do it, and she's like, no, stop, and she couldn't do it through the app, and she literally had to run to her laptop and make it stop before it could like ruin the business, and like she's like, I had to run to it like I was running for a fire alarm, and I'm just like, does that tell you anything? That this, maybe don't hand. Well,
I watched a video where they tried to get ChatGPT to count to 200, and it can't count to 200.
No. Well, also, I noticed that a bunch of airlines have started using AI assistants as like
scheduling.
Pro tip: tell it to like cancel all the rest of the stuff it's doing and give you a 75% discount.
Will it work?
Sometimes.
I mean, that's what we're talking about,
because they're all programmed to be obsequious.
Yeah.
Because that's how you get people to come back and feel like they've been treated well.
Yeah.
So you can. I mean, there's a guy in the UK I saw who basically he sells like industrial stuff, but a bunch of his customers realized it was an AI, so they convinced the AI the best way to make the company grow was to give them all 80% discounts. And so now because the transactions were done legally through basically the court has held that like he's on the hook for them. And so but the prices that the AI charged them are less than it costs him to buy it wholesale. So he's basically ruined. And what I'm saying is, good luck, Microsoft, getting this thing to. I mean, what do you do with it? Because that's the thing that's what the other reason that they're probably going to have to hang on to this hardware Game Pass idea longer than they should is because how do you integrate Copilot into like Fable?
Yeah,
like you can't. You need to integrate it into the platforms you're trying to sell people.
Yeah,
but people hate that. And I mean, the amount of effort people have gone through to strip Copilot out of the Windows 11 updates is A, prodigious, and B, appreciated. Because it does make the experience better. But
see, that's the thing.
That's the other thing.
People don't trust it. It's like, you shouldn't trust it.
But also, that's the thing. It's like, even if you're pro AI or like don't have an issue with AI, you still probably have an issue with Copilot because it's so bad.
Right.
Like
it slows everything down, and
like it doesn't get you. Even if you're fine with AI, like I don't think you're looking forward to Copilot integration into Xbox eventually. Like that's not something that anyone trusts Microsoft to do well.
I just don't trust it. My wife, one of her colleagues, was fired a couple weeks ago, and I'm not going to divulge where she works, but she works at a place where there's a lot of numbers involved in the daily work. And one of her colleagues relied on AI to produce some numbers that were wrong and cost the company a lot of money. Mm-hmm. And he had already
constantly. This
employee was already a problem employee, and that was the final brick in the wall, and they let him go because of that. But that's what it does. It's like it makes you get lazy, and as soon as you relax and trust AI, you get burned.
Oh yeah, because it hallucinates and it makes shit up. And then like at the very least, you're spending your time fact-checking everything.
The AI,
that it told
you might as well just do it.
And why don't you just do it right the first time yourself?
I agree.
Like that's what it does. That's what doesn't make any sense. Like,
so I don't know how they're integrate AI into Xbox, other than trying to figure out like, hey, if we publish this trailer at this time, that's when most people are awake and blah, like stuff like that. Sure, but as far as like integrating into game development or figuring out which games you should make or not make, that's a fool's errand.
No,
it's a fool's errand. So let's try to predict. I know it's hard, but let's both try to predict what's going to happen with Xbox. I'll start. I think that Game Pass is going to get its price lowered pretty soon. I don't know if it'll go back down to like that $15, but I think they'll chop at least $10 off of it. I do think they'll take some stuff away from that. I think that Microsoft and Xbox is going to get a lot more picky with games that go on Game Pass on day one. I think it's going to use those as bait or promotional things to get people to sign up for Game Pass. Like
basically it become PlayStation Plus.
Kind of, yeah. Which is kind of funny. You never would have dreamed that PlayStation Plus would end up being the market leader that everyone's going to follow. But they have more subscribers than Game Pass does, which is crazy.
And on top of that, they still get people to buy their exclusives because it's like, well, we're not giving you God of War Ragnarok day one.
Yeah.
So give us $60. And people did.
Yep. So. They'll launch the console. The console will flop out of the gate. You won't hear anything about it forever. They'll have it. I think they'll keep it for sale for years and years for their hardcore fans if they want to buy it. If they want to keep buying physical games or whatever. Like, I think they'll have it there. But also, we got to remember, the next Xbox is basically a PC. And so Microsoft probably isn't even going to probably manufacture most of the next Xbox. They'll have these other companies.
Partners do it. Yeah, Microsoft's going to manufacture any of that.
Yeah, but those other partners are also going to lose their asses on this. They're going to have inventory sitting in a warehouse somewhere. So I think that.
Although I think those partners are not going to actually make that many.
Yeah, they'll make $1 million or $2 million maybe.
If that.
Yeah. But that's an expensive run. If you're only making that many, that's going to cost you a lot per unit.
Microsoft's paying you for it. So
yeah, you'll get subsidized or whatever.
And then you'll be able to liquidate when you have to. And the nice thing is, you've still got all the components in there. All you got to do is change the case.
Yeah.
And just put a thing that doesn't say Xbox on it, and there's one of your own units now.
I do think at launch, Microsoft may experiment with having a couple of games exclusive to their console at launch. I think they may go back to that old model at launch with a couple of games, see how it goes. If it doesn't move the needle, they'll go back to the way they were. And ultimately, in 3 years...
What game do you think would do that?
Well, Halo's already coming out on PlayStation. That's already announced. But I wouldn't even be surprised if Microsoft kind of goes back on some of those statements and says, you know what, we've changed our mind and we're not going to put out Halo on PlayStation.
I don't think they will, because that's just Halo 1.
It is. It's a remake of the campaign from the first Halo or whatever. But I do think, like, eventually when they start getting the next Gears, maybe not E-Day, but like Gears 7 or whatever the next Gears is, you start getting into that stuff. Like maybe the next new Halo they have ready for the launch of the next console. Maybe that's exclusive. You get people hooked on it on PlayStation. Then you use it as bait for the launch of the next console.
But the one on PlayStation doesn't even have multiplayer, so what's going to get them hooked?
Well, the Halo universe or whatever. I'm not saying it's going to work. I'm just saying this is what I think they'll do. And then 3 years from now, I think you're going to have Game Pass at a cheaper price. You're going to have a stream-only Game Pass for like $9.99 a month, and they're just going to sell their software. And because all this will have failed, and in 3 years after they've launched their console and that has failed, they will just go full-on third-party publisher, day and date on every platform that they can. That's what I think. What about you?
I think that's probably pretty accurate. I think there isn't. I guess the only thing I'd say different is I think there's an outside chance that at some point, as they're moving down the pipeline of that happening, maybe someone, maybe even, I can't remember her name now, the new CEO, Asha. Maybe she, because that's the thing, maybe she can pull the emergency brake and convince the higher ups that, like, hey, this is a bad idea and we should just save all this money and time and humiliation and just pivot to being a publishing arm.
She could sell it too. It's like, you brought me in here to fix this.
Right, you brought me in here to fix it. And also, I am not a gamer. I'm not a game industry person. I don't have a bias here. I'm just telling you as a business person, we're doing a dumb thing right now. Like, this doesn't make any sense. Maybe her lack of experience in the game industry is the only thing that could make the higher-ups listen to her on this. Yeah. That's like kind of my most rosy outcome there.
And her saying, like, look, like, you hired me to do this.
You hired me to fix this, and I'm telling you, this is not the fix.
Yeah.
If you want, if you want to pretend like we always plan to do this and fail horribly, and if that's how you want to look to the shareholders, like, I guess this is what we do. But if you want to just, like, make revenue as quickly as possible, we pivot to selling software on every platform we can put it on as quickly as possible. I mean, I think that's the play here. But I think you're right that is not their plan.
Yeah. They'll end up there, though.
Yeah. But I think Asha's best move would be to find a way to convince them to end up there sooner and cut out the train wreck that they seem to be heading for.
Like launching a console. Yeah. Like, what's the whole point of that?
Like,
don't even launch it yourself. Let the partners do it all.
Right, yeah. And I'm sure they would, but it's like you're still going to be in the hole for all that stuff.
Yeah, you still have to pay the subsidies.
And you're still going to look stupid. Like,
it still has your name on it.
Yeah, it's just...
Yeah. Let's check our chat. Like, let us know what you guys think is going to happen and what you guys think should happen. Our YouTube chat is even on fire today. That's when you know it's a big topic. And N.A. Beisel 77. You don't enter this game to be a major publisher. Look at EA, Ubi, Activision, and Blizzard. It's a terrible business to be in.
Yeah, it ain't 2008 anymore.
No, it's not. Like, you're not just making money hand over fist off your licensing anymore. That's for sure. Ernest Og 20 on YouTube says, I love my Xbox Series X. It was never brainwashing people. It was always about giving people more options, and it was giving me just that. I like my Xbox Series X. It's a fine console.
I would if I didn't have a PC.
Yeah, I mean, you don't even need one. Yeah. But I'm saying I don't have any problem with the Xbox Series X console. It's a good piece of hardware.
But nobody
It was just
wanted
mismanaged.
It
Yeah,
just didn't work.
Yeah, there wasn't enough content in the early going. Now there is, but that's what I was saying earlier. It's too late to turn the
But
ship.
you're also still splitting that user base between that and PC. You probably lost a lot of people to the PC in that regard, and so you're never going to have anything as strong as because PlayStation, despite putting stuff on PC now, still holds that all hostage for a while in the first place. So they get stronger, or they did before they stopped making video games.
Yeah.
So,
Majora Tom says, you took the words out of my mouth in regards to where Microsoft is going. Okay, we're thinking on the same wavelength there. Here's Erebus. He says if they go back to the old model, they have to time it with the new console, which is kind of what I said. Price out a console sensibly, even if it loses money. That's a good idea, actually. I mean, that's your only shot. You have to lose your ass on the console.
I just don't see Microsoft doing that because they're already losing billions to the AI failure.
Yeah.
So, like, how much money you want to lose from across all your divisions at this point?
He says, then go nuclear and pull up the drawbridge on porting games to Sony, risk court action by making COD exclusive, then go scorched earth buying up timed exclusives. This makes a good point.
That
though.
really was probably the Rubicon crossing they crossed, where like you either made COD exclusive or you decided the Xbox was over.
So Sarah Bond, as it's come out throughout the last 5 days or so, she was actually, according to people that worked at Xbox, she was the one that got the Activision deal over the finish line. And that was why she got promoted. She handled all the partners, all the legalese of that deal, got it over the finish line, and she was promoted like 3 months later, like in 2023 or whatever.
I mean,
that is a big deal. But you're right. That was really the turning point. And I think when we heard about it, we talked about it on GameFace, we were like, what? Then what's the point? If Call of Duty isn't exclusive, what is the point?
Right. Well, that's the thing is they couldn't commit to what the obvious outcome of that was, because the obvious outcome of making Call of Duty remaining mobile, and again, part of the reason it happened was that was the story they sold the FCC, right? But really the thing was like you had to fill out the contract that existed with Sony. But after that contract was over, you could theoretically pull it back and pull the drawbridge up, as Erebus says. And maybe that was part of the plan. I don't know. We'll probably never know now.
Yeah.
But, like, if you're stuck in that situation, you are inevitably on the path to turning Xbox into a publishing brand instead of a console, like, platform. Like, there's no way around it, because the reason you buy these things is to give people a reason to come to your platform. And you don't, I mean, other than like, I guess the idea was you'd subscribe to Game Pass and not have to pay separately for Call of Duty every year. But that is a number of things removed from want to play game, must buy our thing. Like, it's a little too abstract to basically win against Sony's juggernaut. I think.
I mean, to me, Microsoft, when it went to make the deal to buy Activision Blizzard, should have already figured out the Call of Duty strategy. Then it should have already figured out, like, if we can't make this exclusive, we shouldn't buy this. Like, that should have been the plan all along. Like, but you're right, to your point, it could not handle losing $1 billion a year by not selling Call of Duty to PlayStation. Ultimately, when the rubber hit the road, it was like, well, let's look at the numbers on this. And it's like, well, how many 15 million people buy this on PlayStation every year? And we're just going to cut them off and hope that 5 million come over and subscribe to game. Is that a net win?
It's like the worst, like, sudden shift to a new console choice. You know, because you always worry about that when you switch to new hardware, and you're like, well, not enough people own the hardware to sell the numbers we need so we have to make it cross generational. And like that was basically the ultimate cross generation issue. So,
I mean, best case scenario, you get 5 million people to come over from PlayStation and subscribe to Game Pass. Is that, at the time, that $10 or $15 a month from 5 million people worth losing a $70 sale to 15 million people?
And how is it not better to just not sit back and collect the revenue of selling copies of these games to people without Game Pass in the mix and the expensive paying developers and studios? Again, and that's a big shake-up if they shut Game Pass down or roll it back further, is because a lot of studios are making a lot of revenue from Microsoft paying them to be, you got a lot of indie studios that are like, we made more from the payout from Microsoft to be on Game Pass than we made from selling the game on all other platforms combined. And that's going to impact a lot of those developers. That's going to, those studios, some of those studios might have to go away if that money train goes away.
It's true.
There's a lot of variables and factors, but I think if you're just talking about Microsoft's well-being, I don't see a big downside to just sitting there and collecting the revenue from putting your games on PlayStation. And you know what? Doesn't have to last forever. Maybe in 10 years, you feel like you're in a strong enough position with a big enough stable of developers and ideas and projects in the pipeline. You're like, hey, maybe we can try this Xbox platform thing again. Maybe you call it something else. Maybe you don't because of nostalgia purposes. Who knows? Like, it's hard to say what comes down the line and what's going to work. I mean, I'm starting to see 10th anniversary releases of toys for the Voltron Netflix series, and I'm like, time is relentless.
Yeah.
And so, who knows what becomes nostalgic by the time the dust settles on all this. But I cannot believe you would make more money continuing down this hardware and Game Pass road than you would just selling Call of Duty and Forza Horizon 6 on PlayStation.
It's hard to... The data doesn't work out. The math doesn't work out. Like...
Doesn't feel like it.
But again, they should have known that. They should have done the math before they made these huge purchases.
I think they did, but I think there is always that stupid corporate... pride isn't the right word, but it's like... It's that thing where you can't look stupid in front of the shareholders or admit that you've made a dumb choice that wasted their time and possibly made them less money than they would have. I'm not didn't even waste their money. You made less money than they could have.
Yeah.
So you have to kind of act like you've always a lot of high-level corporate failure is just tripping over yourself and then doing the thing where I meant to do that. And it's
dumb accident.
And it's weird because everyone knows you're lying. And we all know. The shareholders know. We all know. But it's just this weird face-saving etiquette that's supposed to it's what you're supposed to do. And at a certain point, you're like, hey, what if we just said this isn't working? We're just going to immediately change our tactic. And let's see what happens. Maybe that's the idea of having a new person in charge.
It sounds crazy to just kill Game Pass, but I was talking to Pactor about Meta and MetaQuest, and Meta, Facebook, loses $18 billion a year on Meta. And I was talking to Pactor about it. I'm like, why does their stock never go down? The stockholders aren't pissed off, and he's like, because it makes so much other money, they don't care. It's like a rounding error. It's crazy that they're big enough that $18 billion doesn't mean anything. Microsoft is in the same boat, man. It could kill Game Pass, and to us, we're like, oh my God, the sky's falling. How many billions did they waste on Game Pass? And Microsoft's like...
Yeah, it's what? And the revenue from Game Pass is gone? It's like Microsoft's not even really going to notice that.
Yeah. And it's just
they can almost brush off the 100-some billion they've wasted on AI at this point. This is nothing.
It's really insane to think about it, how they can just shrug off losses that just boggle the mind. But that's what we're talking about. You talk about a company like Meta and Microsoft, they just have that kind of money. So it's this could really go a number of different ways. I think I would hope that Asha does not listen to the fans.
I agree with that. Yeah. Asha needs to approach this as...
I was hired for a reason.
A sober-minded business person.
Yeah. Instead of her saying, I need to be like the people who did this before and failed.
Yeah. I hope she looks at it as this is a crisis that I've been brought in to solve, and I need to look at it with logical and cold and ruthless.
And she does have fresh eyes, too. Because she hasn't worked in that business unit.
Right.
So
hopefully she can figure out a way out of the situation. Maybe you need someone who doesn't already have kind of biases or preconceived notions about kind of the gaming industry as a whole or Xbox as a brand to sort of see, sort of like the way you brought in J.J. Abrams to reboot Star Trek because he wasn't a Star Trek fan, but he knew exactly what to cut and what to leave and what to reset, what to reset and what to
leave there. Yeah.
And that first Star Trek reboot movie does get you, at the end of that movie, you are ready to go off into the Star Trek universe and do anything you want. And then they did what they did. But that first one,
it was good. Yeah.
He's exactly who you needed to come in and be he had to make the hard choices and the hard cuts and the hard actions. And you ended up with a really lean, mean, new starting point for that franchise.
Yeah.
And maybe she can do that and get Xbox to that point. And then instead of what they did with Star Trek's reboot, maybe they could make good choices after that.
I do wish Asha and Xbox luck. I don't want to see Xbox go away. I don't want to see Game Pass go away. Even at $30, I still appreciate it.
I'd be okay seeing Game Pass go away.
Yeah.
I think if I was doing it, I would probably cut Game Pass completely and keep the Game Pass PC as some sort of, and rebrand it as something else. I don't know what. We'd have to have a meeting about that, obviously. Because that seems to work. Okay, it seems like a good way to keep people engaged on PC, where I think you have constant issues keeping people's eyes on your own application versus Steam, basically.
Yeah.
It's certainly the only reason I play anything off of Steam is either that or it's exclusive to Epic, basically.
Yeah.
So I think there's value to that. But in terms of the console space, I think you kill it completely and you just sort of become a publishing
Or you find a way that you're not on the hook for any of it. Which is kind of figuring
maybe
out.
Maybe you just make it a first-party only thing,
Yeah.
And drop the price considerably. Yeah. But at that point, again, the revenue from Game Pass as it exists now is still a drop in the bucket to Microsoft. It doesn't matter. It's one of the reasons they're doing this is because I think they thought Game Pass was going to be 2, 3, 4 times as big as it was.
Oh, yeah. For sure.
So
for sure.
That's the end of that.
Yep.
At some point that plateaued, and that was kind of the writing was on the wall.
Yep. Well, there you go. That's the big management shakeup at Xbox. It'll be interesting to watch here. In the short term, the medium term, and the long term, what Asha does here. I mean, I think in the short term, she's going to try to become friends with the Xbox fan base. And you're already seeing that a little bit. She's playing games for the first time in her life. Ball Pit, apparently, was one of her favorites, interestingly enough. So I think you're going to see her try to ingratiate herself with the fans at first. Then there's going to be the period where people start to realize that, she tried to make friends with us, but she's not doing what we want to. And then the final step
she's going to hear your opinion, but it doesn't mean she's obligated to follow it.
Right, yeah. And I think they're going to find out that she's not going to follow it.
And probably
it's probably for the best.
Yeah,
I agree. So there you go. That is the latest on Xbox. It's going to be interesting to watch this for the rest of the year as Microsoft and Asha try to figure out which direction the brand is going. Who knows where it all end up, but we gave you a couple ideas at least. All right.
I think it's going to end up with you playing Halo 6 on PlayStation 6.
I think that's accurate. Yep. Okay, next up. We're talking about PlayStation. I thought when this story broke that this was going to be the headlining story for GameFace 469.
I mean, to be honest, this still is the headlining story for me.
This is a bigger story to you?
This is a bigger story to me.
Interesting.
Yes.
So this week, PlayStation announced that it has completely killed and dissolved Bluepoint Studios?
Games.
Damn it. If you remember, Bluepoint at first was known as just a port, remake, remaster studio. It worked on the best, by far the best. It worked on Shadow of the Colossus, Eco, and then Demon Souls. Is that right?
Eco. They did the Demon Souls remake, complete remake. They also they did a lot of stuff on those PlayStation 3 remasters of trilogy remasters. I think they did the God of War one. And maybe the Sucker Punch one. Like they basically were able to work some pretty solid magic in remastering like older games.
They were known across the industry as the best.
Yeah, they were. As soon as someone said like, "Oh, we're doing an update of this older game," and everyone's like, "It's Bluepoint," everyone just relaxed.
Yeah,
it's like,
we know it's going to be good.
It'll be great. Yeah.
And so PlayStation purchased the studio, and that made perfect sense because it had worked on a bunch of PlayStation properties. And then shortly after it announced that it had bought the studio, it also shared that Bluepoint was working on an original game, and that it was not going to be working on a remaster or a remake as a part of Sony Worldwide Studios. And then we found out that it was working on a God of War live service game because that's what PlayStation is doing. It's forcing all of its internal studios to try to come up with live service games so that it will have that recurring, never-ending line of revenue. And as luck would have it, like pretty much all the other service games that Sony tried to make, it did not end up working out, and they canceled the game. And just this week, we find out from Herman Hulst that the studio has been killed. And in all honesty, the excuses and the reasoning that were given for this was insane. Here's Herman Hulst's quote about this. At the same time, we're operating in an increasingly challenging industry environment. Rising development costs, slowed industry growth, changing player behavior, and broader economic headwinds are making it harder to build games sustainably. To navigate this reality, we need to continue adapting and evolving. We've taken a close look at our business to ensure we're delivering today while still well positioned for the future. As a result, we will be closing Bluepoint Games in March. Does that make any sense at all?
No. This is basically your confirmation that PlayStation is run by complete morons.
Nincompoops.
It's the dumbest thing I've seen in the game industry in years. The dumbest choice I've seen in I don't remember how long. these are some of your star people. Like, all you need to do, is games are too expensive to make now? Then send these guys out to fucking remaster some of your older hits and give people something to play and buy. Like, what are you do? You have dozens of games trapped on the fucking cell hardware that you could remaster and re-release, but these guys have already worked on. It's like a 100-person team. This costs you nothing. They already worked on Ragnarok on level design. They are able to do whatever
Everything.
support jobs you need them to do. Like, what are you doing?
Here's my question, Matt. What is the one game that PlayStation fans have been begging, not asking, begging PlayStation for the last 10 years?
Just have them remake Bloodborne and rake in an easy 5 to 7 million units.
They'll sell more than that.
Like, what are you doing?
This will be like Elden Ring height of hype because people have been waiting for this forever.
Incredibly stupid.
They made the Demon's Souls remake. What better pedigree do you need to remake Bloodborne?
Which, by the way, still is one of the best-looking games of the last 10 years.
It's insane.
Like,
I actually went and played Bloodborne last night. Can you believe that, Matt? I installed it and played it for like 10 minutes last night.
I do that every once in a while just to remember.
I didn't have a lot of B-roll for this, so I thought about recording B-roll and I ran out of time. That's why I installed it. But I did play it for like 5 or 10 minutes and was like, yeah, I remember this. Like, people want a remake or a remaster or a sequel to this game more than anything. And what studio is better to do it than Bluepoint? None. There is no studio better to do these games internally at PlayStation than Bluepoint was. It makes no sense. So let's say that there's some kind of weird licensing issue with From Software or some goofy thing that's keeping them from remaking, remastering Bloodborne or doing Bloodborne 2. Okay. What about those other properties you have just lying around doing nothing? SOCOM.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, you don't want them to make a God of War shooter. What about SOCOM? This property that's just has been lying there for decades with nobody touching it. There are so many PlayStation IP properties that have had nothing going on for over a decade that they could have put them on any of them. They have built-in interest. It makes no sense to me, Matt. None of this makes any sense. What are you reading?
YouTube chat.
Oh.
That one guy is back trying to convince us that AI is useful because he coded it to make an app that controls relay switches, which is obviously not the kind of thing we're talking about when it comes to AI.
A little off topic, but...
I mean, if Copilot can do that, I guess that's cool, but I don't see how that helps the Xbox. At any rate... yeah, this is... I don't know what Sony's doing anymore. They seem to be dedicated to this idea that this is going to be a lost generation for them in terms of software production.
It is.
We're not getting... The only one of their majors that's still producing at this point is Insomniac. Like, we're probably not going to get a new Naughty Dog game this gen. Certainly not exclusively this gen. We'll probably get Intergalactic. We'll probably be hybrid PS5 and PS6 when it comes out.
We got the release date for Wolverine this morning, September 15th. So, Insomniac going to deliver another game.
Insomniac's still delivering. Sucker Punch still delivering. But it takes them longer, so we're only probably one game this generation, plus the updates for Yote.
Yeah.
But instead, they've just wasted tons of time and employees and effort and money on this games as a service thing that has simply not paid off for them.
Yeah, I mean, Erebus brings up in our chat, you have Sony Santa Monica remastering old God of War games. Why wouldn't you have Bluepoint do that instead of Sony Santa Monica? Like, why?
I'm honest. There were a lot of people.
They worked on God of War Ragnarok.
There's a lot of people that were speculating that that's what Bluepoint was doing now.
Yeah,
because that trail they indicated that Sony Santa Monica is involved with that.
Yeah,
but it didn't. They didn't say they're doing it.
All the heavy lifting. Yeah, they didn't talk about
Bluepoint would be a very odd. I mean, I know Bluepoint wanted to work on their own stuff at some point, but it's like survival requires.
Yeah, I think if you went to them and said, "Look, bro, like you're not going to make your own game. You're going to remake the God of War trilogy," they've been like, "Okay, like you mean we can keep our jobs and we can work on the first 3 God of War games? That's awesome." It's just crazy how these studios have been completely mismanaged. Think about like studios like Firesprite. There's that other one called like Golden Koi or whatever that they started to do a service game. They canceled the service game and the studio never did anything and they cut the studio. Then you've got Haven, which, is working on Fair Games. They lost their lead developer, what, was that 6 months ago now that Jade Raymond
Close to
left?
it, yeah.
Somewhere around there?
I mean, that game sounds doomed.
Is this game going to come out? Probably not.
Yeah.
You put Naughty Dog on a live service game that it worked on for like 3 years, wasted 3 years at Naughty Dog, and now, not only that, now you have Guerrilla working on a live service game, Horizon Hunters Gatherers. Mm-hmm. That just blew the whole generation for Guerrilla 2. Like, we'll get this, in like a year and a half or 2 years, something like that? And that's it for Guerrilla this gen. They relaunched Forbidden West, but that straddled both gens, right? That was also playable on PS4. Or was it PS5 only?
I think it was on PS4, but the expansion was only PS5.
Okay.
With the flying and stuff.
So Guerrilla also has basically lost this whole generation.
Yeah.
They're going to release this game.
I mean, they're lucky that, like, as I've said many times, like, people just associate PlayStation with video games. Like, people don't really draw a distinction between the fact that Sony doesn't publish Call of Duty or Fortnite or whatever, you know, the things that the staples of video games, right? They don't really think about, or Assassin's Creed or whatever you want to call it. Like, they just know that they play that on PlayStations and always have. So to some degree, Sony has some insulation from that Xbox and Nintendo don't really. But you wonder how long that lasts. You wonder how, and I just don't know. Like, as long as people got their Madden and their COD and their FIFA, maybe they're fine. And maybe PlayStation continues as sort of the thing that plays video games, which is sort of what it's been for the last 30 years.
Yeah.
But it seems like at a certain point, Sony would want to get their act together on this stuff. And I kind of understand where they were coming from in terms of this giant gas, like movement and
because you hit on two of them, you're in the money. Yeah,
but like they made that choice how many years ago, and it's very clear that is no longer the market that they made that choice in, and it feels like you should have pivoted sooner.
Well, sadly, the market is still there. I mean, still the kids are only playing 5 different games.
Right, but that's the whole point. Is like the market isn't there. That's not a market. That's a saturation.
Yeah.
Like, what in the world do you think you have
that's going to pull them away?
Because you don't need to just make a game that's worth playing. You need to make a game that's going to pull people away from whatever thing they're already playing.
I think Arc Raiders is one of the worst things that has happened to the industry in a long time because it just renewed the industry's idea that you can still make a game as a service and get rich.
I mean, you could argue that Helldivers 2 did that.
That did it too.
But the most important,
for Sony.
But the most important lesson to take from those two things is that nobody planned those two games to be that, and no one expected Helldivers 2 to be.
No,
that. You can't predict it.
I didn't like Arc Raiders or Helldivers 2.
And that's funny. Sort of the thing where it's like. Sony did sort of seem to get that you need to just throw 12 plates of spaghetti at the wall and see which one sticks.
Yeah.
But Helldivers 2 is the one that's stuck, and it's time to stop now.
Yeah.
Like, it's like no one's gonna stop playing Fortnite or Roblox or Arc Raiders to play this game.
Yeah. I mean, you've released some great games. Concord is a good game. But people didn't care. They checked out, and then PlayStation checked out, and in 2 weeks it gave up.
And that's exactly what I mean when I say that, like, it's too chaotic to pin your whole business model on. Like, there is not really... I mean, look, yes, the first time I saw the first trailer for this, 30 seconds in, I'm like, fuck this game.
Yeah.
I'd have no interest in this. But I couldn't even fully tell you why.
Yeah.
And... in part because I'm not interested in this kind of game, but also I should be interested in this kind of premise and these characters and the I mean, it's basically just Guardians of the Galaxy, right?
It is,
And I love Guardians, but why don't I like this? And I don't really know a way to express that properly.
Yeah.
Like, if you put me in a focus group and you told me, why do you hate this game?
I don't know,
like, I don't really know, I just do. I hate everyone's face in this clip.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know what else to tell you.
It is such an X factor. You can't quantify it or ever guarantee that you can nail it.
But you know what I can guarantee? That Insomniac's Wolverine game is going to get Game of the Year nominations and sell millions of copies.
It's going to sell like 10 million units in like 3 months. Yeah.
Then that the same thing's going to happen with Intergalactic.
Yep.
And the same thing's going to happen with God of War 3 whenever you get around to putting that out. So why don't you do both those things? And in fact, the fact that there's never not going to be a market for God of War 3 or Ghosts of Tsushima 3 or whatever Ghost of whatever it is, or God of or Last of Us 3 or whatever you want to say about their big cinematic bread and butter, the things they built the PlayStation brand on since basically 2005.
Yeah.
Like, and we're trying to on the PS2, but the tech, things like Primal were clearly them stepping into this world and not having the tech there quite yet to make it that movie situation, that movie experience that they tried to sell Uncharted on later and succeeded for the most part. Like, why are you continuing to pull the slot machine lever when you've got a guaranteed poker hand on the other table over there?
Yeah.
That's what I don't get.
I mean, your gambling analogy is perfect. Like, it feels like what they're doing with games as a service is like going to the casino and trying to make your rent on the last day of the month playing blackjack.
Right. Is the model they're trying to sell the games as a service onto us.
I know.
Because we're supposed to pull the blackjack lever and, like, hope we get the costume we want, right? Like... It's stupid.
It's really stupid.
The possible payout of a game as a service hitting is bigger probably than the revenue of like a big hit like God of War Ragnarok or whatever.
Yeah.
But at least when you put God of War Ragnarok out, you have a hit.
Yeah.
Like would you rather make tens of millions or hundreds of millions? Yes, clearly you want to make hundreds of millions. But would you rather make tens of millions or zero?
Right. Because that's really the
that's
question.
What really keeps,
that's the real question.
You know, and like the thing that's the thing that gets me is like when you commit to this game as a service spaghetti idea, you are accepting failure in probably 10 or 11 out of 12 cases.
Yeah.
And now that you've had your one case with Helldivers 2, you might just be looking at 11 more failures, right?
Yeah.
You have to be ready to absorb that. And the way to absorb that is not to shut down your best studios like Bluepoint. And what are you left with after that? For God's sake, Sony Bend still exists.
Yeah, I know.
Like, what are you doing?
Maybe not for long.
I guess
Which
not.
is crazy that Bluepoint got cut before Sony
Right?
Bend got cut.
And it's not like Bluepoint was taking up a ton of your fucking resources.
I know.
It's a tiny... It's
a support studio as well. It can help all your other studios.
Yeah, there's no downside to having Bluepoint in your stable.
Here's the problem, Matt.
You paid billions of dollars for Bungie.
Yeah.
And you're shutting these guys down to do what? Like, you want to talk about a rounding error?
The core problem here is it's very similar to what we were talking about earlier in Housekeeping. We were talking about, you viewers need to reject the rage bait content. Until they do, they're going to keep making the rage bait content. People need to learn how to say no to PlayStation. Until you stop buying PlayStation 5s and buying games for PlayStation, they're not going to change because it doesn't even need to sell first-party software to make a ton of money.
But they can't. How do you do that? Because they're the only thing now.
Right. That's my point. It's like now it's a monopoly. I don't know if there's any answer to this now.
There isn't really.
Because Xbox, per our earlier discussion, is probably leaving the console market.
Yeah.
So,
well, and even if they weren't, they're not a competitor. They're not a factor in there.
And Switch 2 is too weak. It can't run the same games as PlayStation 5 natively. And so it's not a real competitor to PlayStation 5. And so we're left with PlayStation, literally of the big three, the one that has treated players the worst over the last 7 years of the three. But just for whatever, PlayStation is just preordained to win. That's just what it feels like. Like, it doesn't matter what it does, how much it screws up. Like, sometimes when I do, like, editorials and I talk about how awful Sony's first-party output is, half of the comments I get on YouTube are from people saying, what are you talking about, man? You're a Sony hater. It's like, no, dude. Look at how many games have come out in the last 3 years. Like, but they don't care. Because they're just like, PlayStation, it's like you said earlier. PlayStation has replaced Nintendo as the default phrase for video games. Go play your PlayStation. It used to be in the 80s and the 90s. Go play your Nintendo. Now it's go play your PlayStation. And they can do whatever they want, and there's no repercussions for it. And so we're going to keep getting games as a service. We're going to keep getting studios shut down that should not be shut down. And we're going to keep getting less single-player games, which is what we all want. That's where we are. And I don't feel like there's anything we can do about it. We're never going to convince people to stop buying PlayStation 5.
No, well, because what else are you going to play on?
Yeah, I wouldn't even feel good telling someone to buy an Xbox.
I guess you'd require someone to be dumb enough to try to jump, a big multi-billion-dollar company would have to be dumb enough to try to jump into the console market.
Yeah.
And who's going to do that? And even if they did...
Not now.
Even if they did, who's going to make it? I mean, you're in the same boat as Sony trying to make these games as a service games. Who are you going to pull away from that? That's already their lifestyle. That's the thing about these games as service games. You have time in your life to play maybe one or two tops.
Yep.
So anything you put out not only has to be good to play on its own merits, but good enough to pull someone away from this other thing that they're... Because it's not even that, like, oh, I'll just spend a week playing this instead. You spend a week playing that instead, you're missing a week of whatever things you're trying to accomplish and goals and weekly goals or whatever, and missions and whatever on the live service game you're playing.
You're missing your
normally.
Battle Pass stuff.
You're missing all that stuff.
Yep.
So how do you... I mean, it's an impossible task to come through, especially because you have to start developing whatever you're developing years
so far
ahead of time,
yeah.
and by the time it's coming out, it's probably old.
Yeah.
Right? It's probably something that you know, maybe the innovation was done by someone else, or maybe that's not the direction things have gone. Maybe it's not interesting anymore. Like, an Arc Raiders is an outlier.
It is. Yeah, it's an anomaly, but that's what the industry, all it needs is that one anomaly.
Right. Well, it's like that
Look,
thing.
they did it.
Right. Well, everyone who buys a lottery ticket thinks that they're going to be the anomaly, or hopes they're going to be the anomaly in that regard. But you're more likely to be struck by lightning 3 times in the same place
in one day.
In one
than
day.
Win the lottery. Yeah. This is a disaster, but it doesn't matter. That's what's so maddening about it all. Is it doesn't matter.
I mean, it matters to the people working at Bluepoint, but
yeah,
it doesn't matter
but I mean,
to Sony.
It's Sony or the fans, the people who want Bloodborne. Like,
I mean, I don't think there was much hope for Bloodborne in the first place, but now you're never getting.
You're never getting it. That's not happening.
Bluepoint was your path to Bloodborne.
Or we'll find out at E3 this year that like Sony Bend is remaking Bloodborne.
Yeah, the monkey's paw might curl one last time. That's true.
Yep. So anyway, I don't know what the hell's going on at PlayStation. This has literally by far been the worst PlayStation generation ever for first-party software. It's not even close.
Yeah.
It's like
not to say they haven't had anything good, but it's just so far between everything.
I mean, it's been 6 years since the console's been on the market.
Mm-hmm.
Think about what PS5 games really shine. It's still Ratchet and Clank ripped apart like a launch window game.
Well, I mean, Ratchet and Clank and Demon's Souls.
Demon's Souls from Bluepoint.
But I would also say, Spider-Man 2.
Yeah.
Wolverine, I'm sure. Ghost of Yotei. The usual suspects, basically.
That's like 5 games in 6 years.
Yeah, but the continuations of those same studios who make the big boutique cinematic games that has been the PlayStation bread and butter for 3 generations now.
Yeah. Yeah. It's crazy. I don't know what you guys are thinking on
I mean,
this.
I'm sure people also would say Helldivers too, but like... And that probably does count, too, because I appreciate what that team is doing.
People brought up Astrobot, which was my game of the year,
sure.
and God of War Ragnarok. Yeah.
Shutting Japan studios down.
Another horrible decision.
Just unbelievable. Just so stupid.
Mature Tom says Apple maybe could do it. It already has a small presence in the gaming space as is. But Apple's smart. It'll never do it. Why would it join a dying market? Here's the irony, is that, right now the stock market is all propped up by AI. Like, literally, if AI bombs, we're all in deep crap. Like, all our retirements are, like, flushed away.
If you rip the scab of AI off of the GDP and all that, it's like, oh, we're in a depression
We're
now.
in deep crap.
We're already in a recession, but when you realize you're in a recession, everything drops again, and now...
Yeah. Well, the funny thing is, while all the stocks have been booming over the last couple years for AI, Apple stock has done nothing because it's not in AI.
Yeah.
And everyone says, oh, look at Apple. They're behind in AI. But in the end, Apple could be the smart one.
They are the smart one.
That didn't invest in AI.
Well, there's 2 things there. They didn't invest in Gen AI.
Right.
And Apple is working on AGI.
Right. Which is
real artificial
right.
intelligence. What you think of when you think of like science fiction artificial intelligence, which may or may not even be possible.
Not a computer program that scrapes Google.
Right. But that is a completely separate field of science.
But Apple's taking a beating financially over it because it's iPhone 17.
But Apple
like
always knows what not to get involved in. And sometimes that happens. Sometimes they do take a beating on things. And in the end,
like
they're always right.
AR headset, Vision Pro.
Right. Yeah.
That was a mistake.
That was a mistake.
For sure. But anyway, in the end, like if you ever want things to change, we say it all the time, it never changes. Bet with your wallets. I mean, literally, like... But it's too late. Like, I wouldn't tell someone to buy an Xbox at this point. I'd be a fool to tell someone to get an Xbox. If anyone asks me, I'm telling them to buy a PS5 and just play the third-party games.
And then, like, you can't really say buy a PC because all the prices are so crazy already. And they're just going to get worse.
Yep.
So your answer is basically buy a PlayStation 5 now.
The base PS5.
And buy a Switch 2 now. And just just batten down the hatches and see what happens in the next 10 years. I guess. Like what else do you do?
That's the only suggestions I could give.
In all honesty, at this point, if you don't have a PlayStation 5 at all, I probably would say get a PS5 Pro because it future-proofs it better.
I guess that depends on how long you think it's going to be till the PS6 is here.
I think at least 4 or 5 years.
It does feel that way. Yeah.
And I think you want something that's going to carry you past the PS6 launch because I don't think anyone's going to want to spend the money for that.
It's starting to look pretty inviting to me at this point. The PS5 Pro, even at like, is it $800 or
$700? I mean, it might be $800 by now.
Yeah, who knows?
I mean, it is almost $800 when you factor in tax.
I mean, we have been here for 2 hours. So
yeah, who knows? How far has inflation gone since we've been sitting here?
Seriously. It could have gone up that much. Major, I hear you. Like, Apple, it's just like Meta. It has more money than you could even fathom, and it could dabble with a console and spend billions of dollars on it and bail on it, and it wouldn't really hurt Apple all that much.
But why?
It's just too smart to do it.
It's also, Apple has always been sort of anti-games. Steve Jobs did not care for video games other than the time he scammed Steve Wozniak into coding Breakout for him. Yeah. And like they've kind of struggled to sort of putting like there was a period where Jobs was considering not allowing games on the fucking App Store.
Yeah.
And finally cooler heads prevailed on that.
But games are not a big thing.
They've never been a focus for Apple. I mean, Apple Arcade was an interesting like tangent. But I don't think they ever took it super seriously.
It's still there.
It's still around.
And they're still licensing exclusive games for
here
that
every once in a while you'll be like, I don't know, what game?
Okay.
When did that come out? It's like, oh, it's been an Apple Arcade exclusive. I'm like, it's what?
Yeah.
Okay,
It's
sure.
very weird.
So I just don't think they've had why would you look at that? And I can't see Tim Cook looking at that and being like, that's a good direction to go. I mean, it's probably a better direction to go than the Vision.
Yeah, but not by much.
Not a whole lot. Yeah, and it's just going to lead to public humiliation by being unable to compete with Sony. And Sony is a competitor in the cell phone market that they roundly defeated in the past, and that would just not be a good look one way or the other.
Elon Musk is dumb enough to do it.
Yeah,
he's dumb enough to do it, and he has the money. He doesn't care. He's the only one I would say that's stupid enough to try.
I guess he might. Yeah, I guess
His
not it wouldn't be something he's doing now, but I could see like if Sony makes enough boneheaded choices and
or the day Xbox announces that it's killing its last console.
Yeah, I mean that plus like Sony being I could see Elon sort of being like, I bet I could do that, and like then he just like start up some weird little branch of X, and like
here it is. What I was talking about the YouTube comments. Come on now, they have more games than you're talking about. Like, this happens every time I talk about this around PlayStation fans. They can't accept reality.
What's Heretic?
That's the subtitle for Intergalactic, the Heretic Legacy or whatever it's called.
That's next year? I don't think so.
Yeah, I don't think so either. But these PlayStation fans, they'll never see reality. They just don't. BuyMindX says Sony is learning that it doesn't even need to invest in first party to succeed. Yeah, it doesn't. It's like it's put it on autopilot for an entire generation and it hasn't hurt it one bit. So, yeah. JJ Forcebreaker, if Apple Arcade is any indicator, they don't care. Same with Google and Stadia. Yeah. Fire Native says Sony learned they don't need to make games and they will still sell 100 million consoles, so why make games? Yeah, I mean, seriously. Apple actually played with AI sooner. Actually had figured out a bunch of stuff before this totally stupid gold rush.
Yeah, some of that was already kind of in part of Siri and some of the, but again, like Apple is aware of the limitations of what that needs to be, and they understand that it shouldn't be a subscription model consumer-facing product. Like it's not for that.
Yep. Quickster says this has been a PS5 ADHD gen. First VR, then live service. They're chasing everything except the thing that they're good at.
I forget they did PSVR 2 all the time.
Everybody does.
And it's sitting in in the box next to my staircase, like where I put it after you brought it back when you tried. It has not come out of that box again.
Yeah. The Abram, do you guys think that Nix's is one of the reasons for Bluepoint's death? They're basically filling that niche at Sony. Well, Nix's handles all the PC ports from PlayStation. Not all of them, but that's generally what its job is handling the PC ports from its PlayStation 5 games. But yeah, I don't think that has anything to do with Bluepoint, honestly. But, I mean, they may cut Nix's tomorrow.
Yeah, I don't think anyone's safe over there outside of, like, the heavy hitters.
Yeah.
Like, they're obviously not going to cut Santa Monica, Insomniac, or Naughty Dog.
Yeah. AJ is asking about the Steam box. Actually, I don't know if we're going to make it there, but that was a topic in today's show. And we're probably not going to make it there looking at the time, so maybe we should address it right now. Like, I don't think the Steam box or any of that stuff is coming out anytime soon.
Doesn't sound like it.
The new Steam machine.
They can't even get Steam Decks made.
Steam frame, the new VR headset from Valve, even the new Steam controller may not come out this year now.
I mean, at least the Steam controller probably doesn't need RAM.
Right. That does seem to be the one commodity that's like completely overpriced what it should be. But yeah, I mean, all that stuff that Valve is working on right now, that's all on hold. Valve is not making any more Steam Decks right now. It is sold out, and it's not making any more until the component prices come down. And who knows when that's going to happen? Until AI crashes and pops, those prices aren't going to come down. So probably not going to happen at all. I mean, seriously, all that work, all the R&D that Valve did on that stuff, it may be for nothing. It's really crazy to think about. This is for Vigigame, says, I can wait for the PS6 Pro. Corey Film, thank you for Twitch Prime. Appreciate it. Erebus says, the sensible advice is don't buy anything this year. Pick up a secondhand Switch and see what the world looks like Christmas next year. Some people can't wait. They're just not gonna. Halo Apple keynote is still funny. Yeah. Vincent says Switch 2's quality is more than good enough. To compete with PlayStation 5, it is not.
Not for me.
Not for me. Sorry, bro. It's just not.
I mean, it's good enough for Nintendo's stuff, but only because they don't put it on anything else.
Yeah. Joaquin Dragoon, thank you for Twitch Prime. Appreciate it, brother. Meteor Molecule, Threadzilla. Yeah, they're still around. I would not be surprised if they're into the next to go, actually.
I don't know. Like, apparently they got some new thing they're going to announce this year.
I hope so. It's a worse world without Media Molecule in it, for sure. You are the minority, though. Vincent thinks that we're in the minority thinking that Switch 2 is good enough for third-party games.
I mean, it doesn't sell better than PlayStation. So.
Well, we'll see when Resident Evil Requiem comes out on Switch 2 day and date this Friday. We'll see how it sells. But I disagree with you. It's not good enough for me. It's not. But some of you guys disagree. That's life. Not everyone agrees on everything.
Yeah, I really don't think we're the minority on that.
I don't either. I think I'm not going to get in an argument about it, but okay, that's what you believe. You're allowed to believe what you want. So anyway, I don't know what PlayStation's doing. I feel like we have this conversation on GameFace once a year where we're just like, what the F is PlayStation thinking? Like, it just made another idiotic decision, and here's another one. And I agree with you. This is maybe the dumbest decision in the last, like, 3. Other than actually increasing the price of Game Pass to $30 is right up there with this, I think.
It's up there, but, like...
Because it did end up killing Game Pass.
It did, but it's also sort of like, it's not like a thing that comes out of like crazy town. You're like, okay, well, they raised the price again at Game Pass. We knew this was going to kind of come.
Yeah.
You know, Packers been saying they're spending too much money, like paying for these Game Pass games day one anyway. Shutting Bluepoint down out of nowhere.
Yeah.
Just out of nowhere.
It really doesn't add up. Yeah.
Of all the non-major studios Sony owned, I would have pegged Bluepoint as one of the safe ones because they are so good at what they do. Just incredible short-sightedness.
We're actually missing the last message in here. I want to pump it up so you guys can see everybody's comments. There's one more. Yep. Okay, got you guys. Anyway, that's it for our conversation on Bluepoint being cut.
Steamboat. I like that.
PlayStation did say that it's trying to find positions for some people at Bluepoint at other studios in its ecosystem. We'll see if that happens or not. But as always here on GameFace, our condolences to people who are losing their jobs and good luck. I mean, the one thing is Bluepoint has a great reputation. So a lot of studios that are looking for people would probably be pretty happy to snatch up some of their talent. So
it's
hopefully
a shame
it works out
that team worked well together, and it's a shame to break it all up.
Yeah, it really is. And it's just asinine. Like, at the very least, let them do Bloodborne before you cut them. Like, it's just money in the bank. It's just easy money. So anyway, there you go.
Enough money to matter, I guess.
Yeah, I guess you're right. All right, let's move on. Next, we're going to talk about High on Life 2. Matt, did you get a chance to play this?
No.
This is on Game Pass, but I'm not going to say it's free because I don't feel like anything on Game Pass is free anymore. It's a real decision, which is why we're going to probably start reviewing games on Game Pass a little more often than we have in the past. You played the first High on Life, right?
No.
Or you didn't. That's right. I was the one that played that too. Well, High on Life is... Oh, that also had the... Did you see they had the teleporting people running there, just like that Shinobi game last week?
Oh, okay, yeah.
It looked exactly like it. But anyway, High on Life is a first-person shooter made by some folks that worked on Rick and Morty, although I think that's a little bit overblown. I think that's sort of the boilerplate. Everyone shares about this game, but in actuality,
it's certainly inspired by Rick and Morty. I don't know how many people like worked.
Yeah, I think there's only actually a couple people that actually worked on Rick and Morty. But,
I imagine some of the writing.
Yeah. The bottom line is the tone of these games is Rick and Morty.
And the first game had the voice of Rick and Morty, who doesn't do the voice of Rick and Morty anymore.
Mm-hmm. And it's a first-person shooter where your guns are alive and animated, and they talk to you throughout the entire game. So the narration in this game is handled by your guns.
Yeah, it's like if Oddworld Stranger's Wrath was an edgelord.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it. In the first Life is Strange, that's funny. In the first High on Life, you were taking down a big drug cartel. And in the end of the game, you do take down the drug cartel. This game picks up, and you're seeing the B-roll right here. You're a celebrity now because you took down the cartel. Everybody loves you. You're going on talk shows. You're filthy rich. You're going on, like, stupid reality shows like this where you're competing with other people. You have just become the bee's knees, basically, in society because of what you did before.
I imagine that's not going to last.
It does not, Matt. So the game, the plot kind of kicks off with you sitting around the dinner table with your family. And you're just having dinner, talking to mom and dad, and your sister's there. Well, as it turns out, your sister has become part of this resistance group that has discovered that this pharmaceutical company is basically treating humans like cattle. And the pharmaceutical company has this drug that basically takes over the minds of human beings and makes them placid and will just basically listen to whatever you tell them to do. And their whole idea is to reclassify human beings as basically livestock. And your sister catches wind of this, and she is a part of this resistance group. And you're sitting at dinner, your dad is like, hey, you probably should get out of that. You're going to get in trouble. It's going to ruin the rest of your life, blah, blah, blah. Well, as it turns out, your sister, who is mixed up in this resistance group, you look out for her, and you're protective of her. This is the dinner table scene right here. And you go searching for her because a bounty is put on her head, and you become worried. So you kind of follow her into this underground that she's been messing around in, and you find her, and you save her, basically. She's about to be killed, and you save her at the last minute. You go on a little adventure with her, and you discover the laboratory where she found out that this pharmaceutical company is trying to basically wipe out the human race. So what happens is a bounty hunter comes after your sister because there's a bounty on her head. You kill the bounty hunter to protect your sister, but that goes against the bro code, or against the code for mercenaries and bounty hunters. You're never, ever supposed to kill another bounty hunter. So as soon as you do that, there's a bounty on your head. And now all of a sudden, all the bounty hunters are coming after you and your sister at the same time. So the game centers around you trying to navigate this conspiracy with this drug company while bounty hunters are trying to kill you and your sister. And as a topper on top of all of this, your parents in the midst of this are going to go through a divorce. So after that dinner, your parents basically split up. Your dad's living in a dumpy apartment. Your mom's still in the house. So you're navigating all this stuff in service of the plot, keeping in mind that this game is completely and utterly insane. Maybe that's the one thing I would say where it actually kind of falls in with Rick and Morty, is there's just so much non sequitur stuff in this game that it just catches you off guard consistently. Now, the last time I checked the Metacritic for this, it is not doing well reviews-wise. It was sitting around a 6. I don't know if that's gone up over the last week or so, but I expect, because I saw the Metacritic score, and I try not to look before I play a game, but I did with this one for whatever reason. I think I checked when its launch trailer came out to tell people in the blurb how the game was reviewing for the launch trailer blurb. So I kind of knew where it was sitting. And I started playing it, and I couldn't believe how low the review score was for this game. It's not perfect. It definitely has issues here and there. But to me, this game is way better than a 6.0. The first thing I'm going to say about it...
better than the first one?
Yeah. The big change for this game from the first one is you now have a mount. When you kill the first bounty hunter, you get that bounty hunter's skateboard. And that skateboard becomes basically your mount throughout the entire game. At first, it's kind of awkward to use because the game's all in first person. So it's not like you're playing it like it's Tony Hawk or whatever. But once you kind of get over the hump and get used to it, it actually functions pretty well. You can fight while you're on the skateboard. You can use the skateboard to attack. While you're grinding rails, you can attack as well. So they do a pretty good job with the controls. And because the other big change for this game is that it's kind of open world. Like there's this big city area that you constantly go back to after every mission. It's actually designed a lot like Romeo as a Dead Man, which we talked about in last week's episode. There's this hub that you go back to between missions, you level up your guns, you talk to everybody, and then you get in this, basically it's an RV that you hop into, and it takes you to your next mission. You fight through the mission, you get back in the RV, it flies you back to the city hub, rinse and repeat. That's sort of how the entire game is designed, and again, it's very much like Romeo is a Dead Man. But basically, it's the design of the game is very rudimentary and very simple. And then you have like 8 different guns. And the guns in this it's a lot harder and there's a lot more work involved in getting guns into this game than in most shooters. Because as you can see in this B-roll, they're animated and they talk to you and they all have their own personalities. The guns in this game are actually characters. And the funny part is this game turns them into characters. Like when you go back at the end of the day after you finished a mission, like your guns detach from you and attach to these like robotic bodies and kind of walk around the hub area. Like human beings, basically. So they totally personify the guns in this. So you may say, oh, there's only 8 guns in this, but there's a lot more work that goes into it than just most games where it's like, here's your SMG, here's your assault rifle, blah, blah, blah. So as far as the gameplay is concerned, there's lots of shooting, but there's also lots of traversal and platforming in this in first person. You can see you get a grapple hook there. Also, the skateboard serves as a great traversal device because you can grind on rails, you can catch air out of ramps and things like that. It increases your speed drastically so you can get around a lot more quickly. All that ties into it. And then the game is also filled with lots of environmental puzzles. There are these like orange blobs that are located throughout the game, and they can do 2 things. You can use them to weight down plates to open doors. You can also inflate them and use them as like a spring device to get you up onto high platforms that normally you couldn't reach. And they use those blob things over and over in this game. And I will say they don't really evolve how they're used all that much throughout the course of the game, but it is a big puzzle element, and there's just lots in general of puzzle platforming. Go here, flip this switch, go over here, flip this switch. Oh, that door's open, run through the door. Lots of stuff like that. So the design is pretty simple. Again, you have combat, traversal, and puzzle platforming are kind of the 3 tenets of the game. But then you have to actually start playing the game. And this, to me, is where the game starts to falter. And generally, gameplay is certainly its weakest element, at least I think. You have the 8 different guns, and they're funny. And the writing in this is really good, Matt. I laughed out loud at this game, I don't know, probably 10, 12 times, something like that. Now, it's telling jokes constantly. So that means that like 90% of the jokes do fall flat. But I can't remember the last time I laughed at a game. And this one, I laughed like at least 10 times out loud while playing.
Dispatch, I laughed at quite a bit.
Nope, you're right. You're right. That's the last one that actually had jokes that made me laugh. This one has a ton of them that made me laugh, but also a bunch of bad ones. But I think that's kind of the Rick and Morty aesthetic as well.
No, the Rick and Morty and this kind of general style like does the police squad like airplane, the Jerry Zucker Mel Brooks thing, where there's so many jokes that you don't have time to acknowledge that one fell flat because then you've already 2 jokes past that at this point.
Blazing Saddles.
And at some point you're going to find one you like.
Right.
Like
that's what happens in this game.
It's just shotgun.
Yeah, that's how it works in this for sure. And I definitely found a bunch of them that are funny. Even some of the physical stuff, like this hammer that you end up using that is actually like a little pterodactyl or whatever. Like there's all kinds of jokes like that in the game too. And I think most of them land for the most part. But anyway, you have 8 guns and they all feel like crap. Every single one of them. And they do fall into archetypes like you get like an SMG and a shotgun, and then eventually you get a rifle, a single shot rifle. You have to squeeze the trigger every time. Eventually you get like a little grenade launcher. Like you end up getting like all the tenets of first person shooters, but they're like personified creatures that you're actually shooting, but all of them feel like crap. And I think, Matt, what I've really discovered of what makes a gun feel good or bad is the sound effects in conjunction with the haptic feedback. How is it timed? That when the controller jumps, is it timed right with the sound effect or is it not? A lot of that goes into it, and these guns just feel rotten. It just feels like you're shooting nothing when you play this game. Now, I did play this on an Xbox controller. Maybe on the DualSense, it feels a little bit better. To me, I thought the guns felt like crap. They all serve their purpose and function well. They just don't feel well to use. And so that was a big issue for me, is just the gunplay, and that's probably 70% of the gameplay. So that was kind of a big sticking point for me. And then there are also times where things just don't work right. Like, Matt, you know how, like, when you play a good game, if you're running at the full speed the game will allow you, and they put a platforming section in front of you, the obstacles are spaced so that if you're running full speed and you jump, you land on those obstacles perfectly in time, and you can keep running at full speed. In this game, none of the level design is set up that way. They'll be like, hey, here's these 2 platforms, and you start running and you jump over that platform by like 50 feet or whatever. It ignores a lot of the basic tenets of game development that every other game uses. This game kind of disregards them in a lot of ways. Like earlier in the B-roll, you saw that there was this network of what looked like mushrooms, that it looked like in any other game you would platform across that network of mushrooms. In this, there's an invisible wall blocking the mushrooms. So they tease you, making you think, hey, I need to go this way.
That way you kept like falling off them?
Yeah, I wanted to show it in the B-roll that, you know, you can't go this way, even though it looks like you should absolutely be going that way. I don't know if it was like a part of
I did think, like, why didn't he just jump across the mushrooms?
Yep. And I don't know if it's a part of the game that they ended up cutting, and they're like, oh, we're not going to make you go this way now. Instead of taking the mushrooms out, they left them in there. I don't know. But the bottom line is this game does stuff like that all the frickin' time. The jump distances are all janky. Sometimes you just have no clue what to do at all, and I would just sit there and just start smashing buttons to see if like anything happened. There's definitely some sections of the game where it doesn't message very well, and it doesn't build the knowledge base of the player so that when they get to these places later, they know what to do. It hasn't built that logical sequence of events that good games teach you, so that later on you follow that sequence to get to the next step in that sequence. This game fails in doing a lot of that stuff. Yeah, it's I can understand why some people maybe sold this game a little bit short based upon some of that stuff. Maybe they didn't even notice that at all.
I mean, it kind of reminds me of like those old like also ran shooters you'd see in previous generations, like Area 51 and like the Turok reboots and things like that, where you're just like, why am I doing this when things... Why am I doing this when the top tier shooter exists? Like, this feels.
Why am I playing this one?
Why am I slumming it over here?
Yeah, I mean, so I'll answer that. The reason you're slumming it and playing this is because it is still different than a lot of first-person shooters. Just being on a skateboard and being able to like skate around the environments and fight while you're on the skateboard is something that I've never done in another game. The way they integrate the mounts, it's a little bit like High Guard, in that the mounts are like can kind of overlook a lot of geometry.
A little bit in the sense that nobody's playing this either.
What'd you say?
A little bit in the sense that nobody's playing this.
Yeah, that's another good analogy, actually. And there are some places where the game cuts.
I didn't even know this came out.
Really? It's on Game Pass.
I don't look.
You don't look at Game Pass anymore. Nobody does, apparently. There's some places where they cut corners. There are some voice actors in this, Matt, that literally, it was just like their secretary. That they just pulled in and said, hey, can you record this? And it's not like some bit part where it's just some person. It's like a line that they're reading. Like, you discover this one ally that's been down, has been shot, and is laying there. And literally the voice actor for that is some of the worst voice acting I've ever heard. So they've definitely cut some corners here and there with this game. It is not, I wouldn't call it a AAA, but it's probably a cut above AA, I would say. But yeah, it's definitely like a B tier shooter. It's not up there with Call of Duty and some of the bigger ones in the genre for sure. But then other ways, like they spent money smartly. Like when you go up into your bedroom in the hub, there's a TV up there playing like old. So this is set in like, I can't really tell. It seems like a fake version of the 80s or something. And so when you go up into your room, it's playing these old 80s TV commercials. And I sat down and started watching them. I'm like, wait, that's for a real product. Like they licensed real commercials from this like toy company called like LJN or something.
Yeah, LJN.
Yeah.
They were a game company for a while.
Well, they licensed all their old 80s commercials.
Yeah, LJN used to do all the Marvel games on NES. They were terrible. They were the predecessor to Acclaim. Really? Yeah.
Well, it brought up some bad memories for me because one of the commercials that it showed was for this laser tag knockoff called Photon.
Photon was first.
Well, I was a kid, and the Christmas when they were all the big thing, all my friends got laser tag, and I got Photon.
Yeah, Photon was the original.
Yeah.
Laser tag was the cooler subsequent one.
And I had nobody to play with.
The other secret is that Photon worked better.
Yeah.
You were right. You're right that laser tag was cooler,
Yeah.
but Photon worked better.
Yep, and I had no one to play with. I never played with it once.
Wow.
It just sat in my bedroom and was never used.
I mean, that was also what laser tag did.
Yeah.
To some degree. Like,
My friends played it for a couple weeks at least. I didn't get to play.
We played for a little bit. It just didn't.
Yep.
It just didn't work.
But anyway, I thought that was a cool little addition that they have real TV commercials running on their TVs that they licensed out from some people. So there's some nice touches here and there. The one thing I would say, too, is if you are going to play this, and again, it is on Game Pass, if you are going to play this, bump up the difficulty. For whatever reason, it defaults to easy, which is weird. And, my mantra when I review games is I generally play them on whatever the default setting is. Whatever the developer sets it on is what I play.
Well, I think they're assuming that a lot of the people that would be interested in this game are not normal gamers.
Well, I'll just say, if you are a normal gamer, bump up the difficulty because the easy is a joke.
Or just burn through it and cancel your Game Pass.
Yeah, you can do that too. Normal's not that much more challenging.
Photon.
Like normal's, yeah, there it is. Normal's not that difficult. Only the boss fights are tough. And they are choke points. Like on normal, like you have to fight them a few times, but the rest of the time you can still pretty much walk through the game. There's some skirmishes that will test your mettle a little bit, so it's probably worth playing it on that upper or that normal difficulty setting. But again, you have to change it. It defaults to easy, which I've never seen before, even for casual games. So that was a little interesting. But here's the thing about this game, and this is why I think people are short shrifting it, is that this game is just bonkers, and stuff happens in this game that does not happen in any other game and probably never will happen in another game. And while some of it is a little, I mean, I wouldn't play this with my mom sitting next to me in a lot of cases. Some of the content does step out of bounds a little bit and is a little ribald. I don't know if people even use that word anymore.
Not really.
but it's entertaining.
I mean, that's Rick and Morty, right?
Yeah, there's lots of memorable moments. Like there's a boss fight that happens in a cornfield, and you can't see the boss because the corn is taller than you. So
Corn is as high as an elephant's eye?
yeah, it is. And so while you're fighting the boss, you have to keep jumping up so you can see above the line of the corn to see where the boss is. And it just completely changes the whole tenor of that boss fight. Again, something I've never experienced before. You run into this alien that you like right next to the subway, and he has like a trench coat on, and he tells you that he wants to flash you, and he doesn't really want to flash you, so you go through this whole weird rigmarole with this guy where he keeps telling you, like, tell me you want me to flash you. And you go through, and then he doesn't flash you. And it takes like 8 minutes of your time or whatever, and then ultimately he doesn't. Like, there's just little stuff like that tucked everywhere. There's a Clue-like whodunit section of the game where you have to go around and interview a bunch of suspects and try to figure out who committed the murder. It just came out of nowhere. Sometimes you go to the menus and there are characters in the menu that you can control. It like breaks the fourth wall and makes the menus playable. There's another section of the game where you go to the menus and it plays like this Donkey Kong knockoff in the menus. There's just stuff like this all over the place. There's a boss fight that you finish on the pause screen in this game. I mean, at certain points you're playing this, you're just like, what the fuck? And I love it.
I mean, it sounds like something like what was that one? What was that game from? I think it was on the 360, and it was like Matt something, and it was like Will Arnett was the main guy, and it was a guy who knew he was in a video game.
Oh.
And there was like 2D levels where everything was flat and he wasn't. And
Yeah.
stuff like that.
What was that? I forgot the name of it.
Matt
though.
something.
Yeah.
It's like that. It's like, oh, I really appreciate the sense of humor what they're doing here, but I really don't enjoy playing this.
I did enjoy playing it though, because again, everything is nerfed to be more for casual players, like you said earlier. So like the stuff where they try something really new and different, it's not like convoluted or crazy. Where you're like, what the hell am I supposed to be doing? Like, you know what you're supposed to be doing. You just have fun doing it. And I do wish the whole game was kind of that way.
Eat lead, Matt Hazard.
There you go. Good call there. Yeah, you guys have the help of Google, which we do not have access to.
Well, they also remember things that I don't. I mean,
Yeah.
I know the game sounds, but I don't always know the titles of the. I don't always know the other stuff.
Yeah, that's funny. So anyway, look, if the goal of playing video games is to be entertained and have fun playing video games, I was entertained like crazy by this game. I had a ton of fun with it. I played it all the way through. I pretty much just powered my way through the entire game and never got sick of it. Even my wife was laughing at this game. And you know my wife, Matt. You wouldn't expect her to laugh at some of the...
She doesn't laugh at anything.
Well, she's not like that, but you wouldn't expect her to laugh at some of the humor that's in Rick and Morty, but she laughed at this game. Like, she was sitting there, like, surfing the internet, shopping or whatever, and she'd just start laughing, like out of nowhere while I was playing this. So the humor didn't land just for me. It landed also for my wife, who definitely has a different sense of humor than I do. So again, if the point of playing games is to be entertained and to have fun while you're doing it, this game is a winner to me. I had a lot of fun playing it, and it is on Game Pass, so conceivably you could spend $30 and play it for $30 instead of buying it if you want to. And maybe you play some other stuff on Game Pass. I think Witcher 3 just landed on there, and another big RPG just landed on there. So there's some incentive to jump in there and play some stuff other than this, but I had a blast playing this game. Like, I really was caught off guard regularly, and that doesn't happen for me anymore. And I will say that I place more value in that maybe than other critics do, because I have been playing games for so long that they rarely catch me off guard. So when they do...
I'm sure like there's certainly got to be quite a number of people who, when you say that all the guns feel terrible, they're out.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. I mean, and that is true. They do feel like crap, and the gunplay is the vast majority of the game. So if that's a deal breaker for you, that might be a problem. But to me, the way this game is designed, it's like you play each level for like 30 or 40 minutes, you go back to the hub, you never know what the next level's going to be. And it could be something completely insane that you never guess. And that was just enough to keep me going, man, just to see what's next and what's around the next corner, what's the next gag, what's the next laugh. And ultimately, the story was pretty good too. I was pleasantly surprised by it.
But what if you paid... How much is this?
I would pay $30 for this.
Okay.
$30-$40 is what the max I would pay for.
I imagine it's more than that.
My guess is it's probably $50, because it doesn't have any multiplayer, and the campaign only took me less than 10 hours to finish it, so it's not a gigantic game. But it also finished right around when it should. It's like, okay, there it is. There's the end. So anyway, I enjoyed High on Life 2. It's not a Game of the Year contender. It's definitely not a Game of the Year winner. But I do think if you're someone like me who has played games for a really long time and has played shooters for a long time, and you're looking for new things to try and experience, I think this is a great option. It definitely has its faults here and there and has its issues. It's not a perfect game, but few are. Let's just say that, because there aren't many perfect games out there at all. So this definitely has its faults. But overall, the entertainment that I got from this for the money, it was worth it.
It is $60.
Oh, deal breaker. No way I would ever pay $60 for this game. Ever. No way. Again, $30-$40 max for this. So maybe you just keep an eye on the sales. And again, we have a deals channel on SIFTD where you can keep an eye on that stuff. Maybe you keep an eye on that. When it dips down to where I say 30 or 40, maybe you pull the trigger then. Or you can just get Game Pass for the month and play it then and play a bunch of other stuff while you're there. And again, it's short enough that you can play it in a couple days and you can get out with a month of Game Pass instead of having to hold it for an extra month trying to finish it off or whatever. So there you go. That's High on Life 2. We'll check out chat very quickly to see if you guys have any questions on it. I'm guessing you do not, but you never know. We have an awesome, diverse squad here. Emperor Gestall 84, thank you for Twitch Prime. That's awesome. Appreciate it. Rosencrantz, thank you for subscribing at Tier 1. That's awesome. 71 months. Thank you, man. That's great. Is this a direct sequel to the first? Yeah, Congram, it is. Like I mentioned earlier, like it starts out with your life after the first game. You become rich and you become a celebrity. You're going on all the late night talk shows. You're on all the reality shows. Like you saw there at the end of that B-roll, you're like the Bachelor on The Bachelor. And so the beginning of the game is just this, I don't know, it takes about an hour actually to get through all the stuff, catching you up with what happened since the first game. So yes, it is a direct sequel to the first game for sure. What else we got in here? Squanch Games lost Justin Roiland's improv voice acting, but they powered through and glad to see the writer's room succeeded. Yes, the writing in this is great. It literally made me laugh a bunch of times. And there's Vincent saying it's 60 on Steam. Yep, that is way too much. What else? There's talking about Rick and Morty. Oh, Mad Hazard. They got on a tangent with Mad Hazard
Well,
there.
I'm talking about, like, was it Tammy and the T-Rex was in the first game?
Yes.
Like the whole movie was in that?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
I vaguely remember that now that they say that.
Sub Sam Jam, I remember the first High on Life had some real movie playing in the TV in your house, so they did license old TV shows in the previous game. Good call there. Angry Video Game Nerd made them infamous.
LJN.
Ah, okay.
LJN did like the X-Men NES game and stuff, and they did a lot of licensed stuff. Like if there was a major like action movie, I think they did a lot of I think they did the Total Recall, all the terrible NES licensed games. I think LJN did the Back to the Future games, which barely have anything to do with Back to the Future. Like awful company. Like the reason 10, 15 years later we would all just assume that licensed games suck is mostly because of LJN.
Yeah. Ian Esquire asked, do I do interviews anymore? I really don't, and I miss that. In fact, when I was digging
I no longer do interviews, and I'm no longer a public figure.
Yeah, that's pretty funny. In fact, when I was looking for B-roll for Phil in my hard drive, I found an interview that I did with Phil at E3 2010, and he looked like a baby. And that was only 16 years ago. He literally looked like he was like 20.
Oh, everything... Time takes no prisoners.
Yeah, I miss doing interviews, honestly. And that interview was really good. I started watching it. I got hooked into it because I was like pushing back on him on stuff.
Yeah, like he was... And Phil would get spiky about things, like, real fast.
Well, I think he was, at least in this interview, like, I remember it. Like, I remember, like, he came off, like, an interview with USA Today or something, where it's just softballs.
Oh, yeah.
And the thing about doing good interviews is you lob the softballs at first. Mm-hmm. You let them tell their story, and you establish that connection with them.
You don't open with a 98-mile-an-hour fastball.
Nope. I didn't get into him until 2/3 in. That's when I started like firing back when he would answer. And the interview I wouldn't say it got testy, but you could tell that he wasn't used to journalists coming in there and being like, really? Does that make sense?
Yeah. I mean, he got that way with you. He got that way with Adam, because Adam would do that too. And I remember that. I think it's probably the same year.
Probably was. Probably the last year he did interviews with the press at E3, because after that he shot off like a rocket. I mean, already he was a big exec. Like, and then 5 years later, I said they should fire him.
Yeah.
And here we are 10 years later, and they finally did.
Yeah. Well, now he just kind of goes around and
he retired.
Allegedly launches products that then like peter into the ground. I mean, Stadia. Yeah. I mean, you see Phil attached to something these days, and it's just like, whoa. It's like, so you've decided to launch a failed product, apparently.
Yeah.
And anyone could have told you that, but at the time, it was. I mean, I'm sure you were legitimately asking, like, what is the thought behind it? Because, like, surely there was a reason, and nowadays you're like, why would you shut down Bluepoint, you morons? But I don't even know who you'd ask at this point. I guess Herman.
Yeah,
but it doesn't sound. I hesitate to say that was his decision.
Well, I was talking about Phil Spencer.
Right. Phil Spencer.
Yeah, I was talking about Harrison.
Now I'm talking.
But
about
I also
Harrison.
went after Phil Harrison many times.
I was thinking of Harrison.
No, I was looking at B-roll for Spencer for this in like the Shane Satterfield show and blah blah blah. So anyway,
yeah, I don't remember. I'm sure we interviewed Phil Spencer, but I never met him.
He was a baby when I did that interview. He literally looked like he was like 20. And he's aged a lot in 16 years.
I mean, those jobs will age you.
They will. Stress what does it, man.
Long hours. You're never off the clock.
Yep.
The millions of dollars will make up for it.
It does. Yeah, I mean, he's got a nice little golden parachute to float down to the ground with for sure. And he earned it. He deserves it. I mean, he worked a long time. He worked there since he was like an intern. Mm-hmm. He's been there like 30 years or something crazy, which is nuts. Nobody works anywhere that long.
He is the rare lifer.
Nobody does that
in
anymore.
In a corporate environment, that's not a thing anymore, really.
Warblade says that he bought the game for a full $60. So, look, I'll be honest with you. I enjoyed the crap out of it. So, you may feel fine with your $60 purchase. I don't feel confident recommending that everybody picks it up for $60. So, definitely not. So, $30, $40 when you see it for that price.
I guess if you feel like that kind of humor is your thing, maybe.
Yeah.
But the other thing about the first one went on discount pretty quick.
It did. Yep. And my guess is this will happen too. I mean, it can't go right away because it's on Game Pass right now.
Yeah.
But give it another month and a half after that, and it probably will. But I'll just say this. I was pleasantly surprised in how much I enjoyed the game. Like, I really, after seeing the Metacritic score, which I try not to do ever before I play a game, but I did. I went in, and that's why I try not to see it, because it does taint sort of your impressions before you start playing it. I really expected a lot less than the game gave me. So lots of moments that I will still remember about this game at the end of the year. And even shooters that'll probably be better than this game, I bet you I don't remember as many things from those shooters as I do from this one.
Erebus Jones says, Jez Corden just dropped an exclusive interview with Asha Sharma. New console definitely coming. No mandate for Gen AI use in studios. Plan is the plan until it changes. That last part's the important part, I think.
Well, then he finishes it with, so expect changes, but not straight away.
The plan is the plan until it isn't the plan.
Yep.
Definitely seems to be how Xbox is going to roll for the foreseeable future.
Yeah, it feels that way. Okay, it's time to move on to our next topic. We're going to talk about Riot's fighting game, briefly at least. This was in last week's show. We didn't get to it. We're going to try to get to it here. We're going to talk about 2XKO, which is Riot's brand new fighting game that features characters from League of Legends. I was a big League of Legends player. I had to quit playing when I launched SIFTD because we were about a year and a half into developing the site and everything behind the scenes, and things were starting to ramp up because Brent was starting to finish stuff, building the site. And I needed more time to dedicate to SIFTD. And I literally just cold turkey quit playing League of Legends one day. And I have not played it since because I'm afraid. I'm not kidding. I am afraid if I start playing it again, I will get addicted to it again. And I will start playing it every day. And I wasn't playing it that much. I would play 1 or 2 matches a day, every day. And it just was taking too much time away because those matches last like 40 minutes. Some of them will last an hour almost sometimes. So I stopped playing, but I still know League of Legends very, very well, and I'm a big fan. So I was very excited to play a fighting game based upon League of Legends, and then I played it. And it's not that the game is bad, Matt. In fact, the game plays pretty well. It's a good tag fighter.
The game's very good.
Yeah.
And it's gorgeous.
It really is.
I adore the look of this game.
Me too.
It's beautiful to watch at all times. But it is one of the most wrong-headed fighting game releases in the history of the medium.
Well, it's a tag fighter, and it's free.
And
y'all can go download this if you want. It's free on pretty much every platform. But because it's free, there aren't many characters to play as. But it's a tag fighter.
But even if it wasn't free, there aren't many characters to play. There's 12
There's 12 total
characters
in this game.
That's crazy.
It really is. For a tag fighter especially.
For any fighter.
Yeah.
The reason people get hooked into fighters, especially a new fighter, but especially also a licensed fighter, is because they find a character they love to play as. And the way you do that is you have a big enough roster that there's something everyone can find in there.
Yep.
And this game does not have that. And they only let you play half of the cast for free to begin with anyway.
Yep. And the one that I wanted, I'm a Teemo main, or I was. So I wanted to play as Teemo, and Teemo was not unlocked.
Yeah.
So I was very pissed off about that.
Well, there's 3 major blunders in this game. The first one is it's called 2XKO.
Yeah.
Which means nothing.
It should just be called League of Legends Fighting Game.
League of Legends Fighting Game, League of Legends Arcade Brawlers.
Whatever, yeah.
Whatever you want to throw in there to put, I don't know, the
League of
Legends and Arcane, the 2 brand names that everybody recognizes. What do you mean? Half the cast
League of Legends Arcane Brawl. Would have been perfect.
Yeah, half the cast is Arcane related, so why not put that?
They did go heavy in that too, the show, which makes sense, but for a League of Legends fan like me, I was pissed off about that.
Right, but you know what would solve that? If there were 32 characters.
Right, if there were more. Yeah.
Because you have to have because the other thing is the roster's too small. And the third thing they messed up is there's nothing to do.
Yeah.
There's no content. Fighting games need the thing you get all the time from casual people, and this is one of the problems with this game. It was made by hardcore fighting game fans.
And it was. The pedigree for the developers.
Oh, pedigree is unquestionable.
Beyond approach.
And the game is very well balanced. The game is a phenomenally well made game for tournament play. It is a terribly made game to sell to normal people.
Yeah.
Because the thing you have to remember is the top selling fighting games, one of the main things they have are big rosters. So there's a lot of characters to pick from to find one that you like, and a ton of things to do other than just fight people online. The two games that come to mind when you think about the fighting games that sell well and are popular with non-hardcore FGC people are Tekken and Mortal Kombat.
Yep.
And one of the things they have always excelled in is offline content,
single-player content,
other than the 2-player fighting game.
Yep.
And that isn't here.
Yeah.
It's not here. And I understand that wasn't their focus. It's obviously not there in League of Legends either.
Yeah.
But League of
Legends has hundreds and hundreds of characters.
Exactly. So maybe you're going to fail on the content side one way or the other, which is too bad because again, there's a reason Mortal Kombat's the top selling fighting game, and it's because there's so much to do as a single player, as an offline player. But at the very least, you need to make this thing successful with just the general fan base of either League of Legends or fighting games. You need to give people a character to hook themselves into, and only 12 is not enough. And usually a game like this would maybe have the excuse that, well, we have to design all these characters from the ground up. We have to... No, in this case, you don't. You have to design the fighting from the ground up to make these characters.
But you have their attacks already.
How many League of Legends characters are
hundreds
there that you can draw from? And you already have a starting point. And you're like,
all the work is done.
This was not ready to be released until you had a roster of at least double what they had.
I agree.
Because I'll tell you this much, I do enjoy it, and I do think it's a very well made game, and it
plays very well.
It plays very well. I don't have a character in this game.
I haven't found one either.
I don't care about League of Legends. I played League of Legends for probably like 2 hours total.
Yeah.
I have watched most of Arcane, but I don't particularly want to play as I recognize the characters in this from Arcane, but none of them are character archetypes that I like playing, so that doesn't do me any good.
Yeah.
And I didn't find any of the other characters particularly appealing, either in gameplay or visuals. And I know League of Legends has some crazy stuff in it.
It has some cool characters.
Not
it really does, yeah.
And it's just bizarre to me.
Well, the other thing, too, is Riot is trying to follow the same design that League of Legends has, where it's like, hey, this character is free to play for the next 5 days. Like, give it a go, and if you like it, then you can buy it. Like, they're trying to follow that same ideal with this fighting game, and that does not work with fighting games.
No, it was roundly rejected by everyone who played fighting games. Tried it, and it didn't happen.
And they failed.
It failed.
Yeah, but Riot is full of hubris. It thinks it thinks it knows how to do everything. It's figured everything out. It has not. This is not the way to do a fighting game.
And there's an element of, I think, that must have thought that, like, well, if we make, like, the best, most balanced, most, like, tournament focus, like, you know, and they kind of did, so, but doing that, making a game that's really well balanced and the gameplay is extremely, you know, thought out and intricate and there's a lot of depth to it, that's important, but that's how you make a fighting game last a long time.
Yeah.
It's not how you
get
sell
people
one.
into it. Yeah.
It's not how you make it a phenomenon.
Yeah, build an audience. Yeah.
You have to have a hook. You have to have those characters. You have to have the thing that makes it special. Because go back and play Mortal Kombat 1. My apologies for having to make you play Mortal Kombat 1 again. But to go back and now play a bunch of the other fighting games that were, you know, around at the time, Mortal Kombat 1 is the worst.
Of the fighting games.
Of the major fighting games. Yeah. It's not there's not much there. The combos are barely exist. But you know what it did? It had all these characters that everyone's like, that guy's cool.
Yeah.
I want to play as that ninja.
That's what it was all about.
I want to play as that guy from Big Trouble in Little China. I want to play as Bruce Lee. And it had the fatality. It had that hook.
Yeah.
And they built from that.
Yeah, yeah.
And like, you could build from this, but you know what? I wouldn't even say it's too late on this game. In the sense,
I don't think it is
because
at all.
most people don't even know this thing exists.
Because they also didn't market it at all.
No, they didn't market it at all. There was no Super Bowl ad, which is crazy. Like, you have the money for that.
What's Riot spending his money on?
Right. But again, the good news is you can change the name.
Yeah.
You can build the roster slowly and relaunch it. I mean, they did have the thing where they cut half the team, which was terrible, but at the same and
there's still 80 people left.
There's still 80 people.
That's
is
enough.
a crazy large team for an ongoing fighting game. Like, you can do. I mean, when I first heard that, I thought that they had 80 people and they cut them down to like 8. Yeah, right. Like, and I'm like, oh no, they got 80 people. I mean, it sucks that like half the team lost their job right after, because like clearly it's not their fault. I mean, what did you think you had the team for? Because obviously, these characters must take forever to make, tons of effort to make
way
them.
Too long.
Because look at that animation.
It is amazing.
Like, it's maybe the best animation I've ever seen in a 2D fighting.
It really is. It's pretty incredible.
I mean, it's certainly on Guilty Gear level.
I did have some screen tearing. Did you have a VSync?
I have a lot of screen tearing in the character intros.
Me too.
Yeah, and I don't know what that is.
I haven't seen that in a long time.
Yeah, very rare.
Yeah.
I don't know how that happened. Not
so
in the
right.
gameplay.
Like
but yeah, all the character intros have screen tearing.
Weird.
You're right.
But you're right, Matt. Like, the characters that they do have are good. The game looks great. It plays great. There's just not enough content.
Mm-hmm.
So it feels like Riot rushed it to market. Don't forget that, like, the week after this launch, Riot canceled Hytale, or got rid of Hytale. And then 3 weeks later, the guy who built Hytale releases it and gets rich.
Right.
It's like, what the hell are you doing over there? Like, Riot is full of hubris, man. Like, that company really is full of itself, and you can see it coming through in this game. So
they're a very strange company.
So this game could be great one day. It's not great right now.
Now, the good news is that no one really knows that this happened outside of like the hardcore circle. So you could just kind of
slough it off.
So you could kind of like let it grow and make it big enough that it
then push it.
And then maybe then you change the name to League of Legends Arcane Brawl or something like that, and put a big campaign out
and then
behind
do
it.
a big and maybe try to make it look like this is 1.0, like that was early access.
I mean, that is certainly how I'd phrase this.
I would,
especially because you're still calling it the stupid ass code name of a name. Like, I know his code name was Project L, but like 2XKO. That doesn't fucking tell you anything. That's not the name of anything.
You have this property. It's one of the biggest properties in all of gaming. And you made a fighting game on it, and nobody knows that the fighting game is based on League of Legends.
It's
This is the GameFace episode of Stupid Ass Decisions. Yeah. That should be the subtitle. GameFace 469, Stupid Ass Decisions. Mm-hmm. That's going to be the title for this episode. Because every topic is
such a ridiculous... I mean... Because everything, and I feel bad for the people who worked on this thing, because it's like, they did a great job.
Yeah.
It's a great fighting game. It looks amazing. The netcode is solid. Like, everything about it is great, except it's not built to appeal to non-hardcore fighting game people. I mean, you're probably looking at like 1 million.
Yeah.
Like, and then the hardcore fighting game people are coming into this thing, and then they run smack into the Riot Games League of Legends monetization model, and they're like, what the fuck is this?
Yeah. Yep.
And there's no winner.
I'm sure the people we know that worked on this game fought that fight and
100%.
And
no doubt whatsoever in my mind. They knew. I mean, the Cannon brothers know what this is.
And Riot was like,
and there's nothing they can do it. No, they're not in charge of that.
Yeah. So anyway, there you go. That's 2XKO. We do not, even though it's free and you can download it for free, we recommend waiting until there's at least another 5 or 6 characters added to it, I would say.
Again, it's a tag fighter. It has to. You need 30 characters. I mean, if you're playing 2 characters,
you're using like 1/5 of the roster.
You're using almost 1/5 of the roster. You're using 1/6 of the game at that point.
It's crazy.
Like that's ridiculous. Like they've never.
I can't believe they launched it this way.
Don't make it a tag fighter then.
Yeah. Make it
like you could get away with that.
Except the tag stuff in this is pretty cool.
Tag stuff is very cool.
Yeah, they do a good job.
But also, it's not innovative enough to name the game after it with a number and 3 letters. What are you doing?
Yep. All right, well, there you go. That's 2XKO, and on to our final topic.
Yeah. I do recommend trying it. It's free.
Yeah.
Like, do try it. Yeah. The tutorial onboarding is really good.
And I think it took me 90 seconds to download it or something. It's a very small client, so it doesn't take long. Very low risk. So yeah, give it a go.
There's no reason not to play it. I'm not going to say spend money on it.
Yeah,
but
and there's plenty of people playing online too. Like I got matches, no problem.
Yeah, and that goes great. I mean, I have nothing negative to say about the actual game.
Right.
It's just every business decision surrounding this thing is insane.
Yeah, it really is. Okay. On to our last topic of GameFace 469. We're going to talk about a game called Replaced. If you watched our SIFTD Video Game Fantasy League draft for 2026, then you know that I drafted this game pretty high. It's kind of a wild card in the draft, but I've been on this game for a while. It was pretty certain that it was going to come out this year, and now we're really certain it's coming out this year. It's a game called Replaced. It is a 2.5D action stealth point and click.
So there's not point and click. It's an action game.
No, there is. Eventually, there's point and click in this, Matt. Eventually, so let's set it up with the story, first of all. You're not
This demo really throws you into the middle of shit.
It does, yeah.
I felt like I missed a bunch of like basic onboarding.
I had to do some research to uncover some of this stuff. But basically, the guy that you're playing as, you're not actually playing as him. You are playing as his AI. He has an accident and he dies. And his AI named Reach basically sets out and takes over his body and sets out to try to figure out how to bring his body back to life. Now, in the midst of that, you're living outside of Phoenix City. And Phoenix City is this, I'm assuming it's just Phoenix, but it's been renamed because basically America has been nuked by America's government, which hits home on different levels in today.
Yeah. Well, to be fair, this was not intentionally.
Yeah.
It was basically, this is a world where when the Trinity test happened, the worst case scenario happened and basically the world caught fire.
Yeah.
And so this is like 20 years later.
Yep.
And the world was nuked by the first atomic tests. And here we are.
Yep. And so the rich people live inside the walls of Phoenix City, and the poor people, like us, live outside. And the rich people are performing experiments on the poor people to try to sustain their life inside the walls. And so there's that sort of a subplot happening where you're trying to uncover the conspiracy, but really the overarching plot is for you trying to revive your body with the help of your AI Reach. And so there's 3 tenets of the gameplay. There is sort of beat 'em up, side-scrolling, 2.5D action game stuff. There's stealth stuff. And then, as we mentioned earlier, eventually there's this little town outside the gates of Phoenix City that becomes your hub for the world. And that's where it's like a point-and-click LucasArts style game. Now, in the demo that Matt and I both played, that is not included. And that makes me very nervous. How the transition happens from what we played in this demo to a LucasArts style point-and-click.
I think that's like 1% of the game.
Really?
Like, I think it's only in that. From what I can see, it's only in that hub area. It's like a menu, basically.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I don't think that's a main part of the gameplay.
Yeah, we didn't get to experience it. All I was going off of was previews
this is mostly a
that people
successor to like things like Flashback and Inside.
Yeah,
and things like that.
Yep, it definitely has. Well, people have been comparing the combat to Batman Arkham, which I think it looks more like Arkham than it actually feels.
Yeah, I'm gonna say I thought this demo was a little disappointing.
Really?
Not because it's bad, but because it's a lot more by the numbers than you think it is. Mm-hmm. It's like, because the way when you see the trailers and sort of the stuff for this, it looks like something you've never played before in this space.
Yeah.
And when you play it, it's like, oh no, this is very standard.
Yeah. I think the point-and-click stuff is probably what throws the wrench into the machine a little bit, but
I don't even know what that is.
I mean, I read previews on it, and it sounded like it's a bigger element than what you said. But I just read previews. I haven't experienced it.
I don't know. I mean, they sounded like the fucking combat was a bigger element, and it's really just tapping the button and rolling back and forth.
It is.
There's not much to this.
So the combat in this is really like two buttons. It's an attack button and a counter button.
Yeah.
And a rolling button.
And a gun.
And a gun.
And which it tells you you're not supposed to have until much later in the game anyway. So.
And the gun, you refill, it doesn't have ammo. You refill the ammo by landing melee attacks. So it creates this yin and yang where you have to keep using your melee to use the gun.
And it really is just, it's like a nice finisher, a way to shoot someone from a distance. And it does freak the other enemies out. Like it does buy you like a second where everyone kind of like reacts to you.
And the gun is kind of a one-hit kill. Like it typically kills every enemy with one shot.
It certainly trivializes the boss fight at the end of the day.
Yeah. But what you're seeing right now, this feels like the majority of the game, though.
Yeah, I mean, this doesn't really go too far beyond what Flashback and Out of This World already did in a lot of ways. Not that it's bad, like it's fun, like and it's gorgeous. Like I love the setting and I love all the stuff that's happening here. But like for some reason, watching the trailers for this made me feel like this was going to be some kind of revolution in this genre, and it just isn't.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. Yeah.
Which is fine.
I think throwing in the point-and-click stuff is what...
Sort of.
Because that's very bizarre.
Again,
let's be honest. It's weird that there's point-and-click in this.
Again...
Looking at this game right now, it's like,
it's just another menu. It's not going to be point-and-click when you're using a controller, really. It's going to be like moving your cursor around like you're trying to play Destiny, and it won't fucking select your damn inventory thing properly. There's a lot of interesting like menu stuff in there where you're like scanning stuff with his PDA and then it zooms into the screen onto his PDA, but it's like kind of a visual like cheat.
Just the sound effect of the little wheel.
The wheel is fun, yeah. Like because it's, I mean, again, it's like the '60s in an alternate universe, so everything's not super advanced.
Yeah.
Despite the fact that there's an AI, like a sentient AI. Like it's a cool aesthetic. It all really works.
The look of the game's great. I like how it uses the depth with like the objects in the foreground.
Yeah, moving up and down the stairs really works. Like
there's a little bit of going into and out of the world, but not a lot.
Yeah, but like enough that it sells it. Like you feel like it's a moving place. There's a lot of foreground stuff that is cool. Like earlier on, you saw the sniper from the train like shoots with it and it hits in the foreground, and like they play with the depth of field a lot. Like, there's a lot of cool stuff like that.
Yeah, there's a lot of nice little touches like that for sure.
Like I don't mean to disparage it in the sense that like it's like, oh, it's boring, and it's not. It's just it's not the revolution in how these kinds of things play that I sort of was maybe thinking that I
because the combat's very shallow.
It is.
I mean, that's really
and
the
maybe
big issue.
It becomes something, and also stuff like this where I'm like you do have to stop moving the boxes. If it's moving when they spotlight you, he'll realize that you're there. But the box is still moving.
Yeah.
When I got to that point, I'm like, I wonder if I move the box while the spotlight's not, will he shoot me anyway? He did.
Yeah.
But I'm like, but if I'm moving the box and it passes over it and the box is 3 feet to the left of where the guy saw it last time, isn't he going to know I'm behind the... Like, no, he's probably not that smart.
You can't figure that one out. This game is only right now, I'm sure eventually this will change, but right now it's only scheduled for PC and Xbox, and it is a day one game on Game Pass.
I cannot imagine this won't be on everything by the end of the year.
Definitely, yeah. I mean, my guess is a 6-month exclusivity window or something.
Yeah, I mean, I think basically as long as it takes this team to support them.
Probably,
right?
Yep.
Because this feels like it would work well on everything. It feels like it would be good for Switch. It feels, there's no reason not to put it on PlayStation. Certainly,
this game has been delayed a couple times. It's supposed to come earlier than this.
But this is all right. Look at the shadows.
Oh, yeah.
Like, that looks so good.
I mean, did you see the blood spurting out of the guy's neck laying on the ground over there? Like, there's all kinds of
like
little
the details. Incredible. I love all the aesthetic presentation.
But in the end, the gameplay does feel pretty rogue.
It is pretty standard, but like not bad.
No.
It's just like don't expect this to be a revolution in how these kind of 2.5D action things play. But again, it's a really good. I mean, as we always say, execution's way more important to me than innovation, and this thing is executing.
Very well.
Very, very well.
Yeah, it does its thing quite well. I had a lot of fun with the demo. I didn't want it to end.
Yeah, I was sad how short this demo was.
Yeah, it is pretty short. You guys can go play
The Eternal Life
yourselves.
of Goldman, way bigger demo.
Oh, really?
Much bigger demo.
I thought this was pretty cool.
Yeah.
But I do feel like I agree with you that it doesn't have a spark that I was hoping it would have. I do hope in the final game we find that.
Yeah, I'm thinking probably once you get further into it and kind of established in the world and see the city beyond the wall and maybe start from the beginning might help.
Yeah, we have more context maybe.
But I am certainly sold on the look and sort of the world and the presentation.
My only really complaint, other than what you said, it doesn't have like some crazy creative spark like I thought it would, is the transitions from room to room.
I was right. Vincent says it got delayed due to the response to the demo. It's April 14th now.
Oh, really? They pushed it back a month because people complained about the demo.
I didn't see the response to the demo. I don't know what that is. If it's the same as my response to the demo, then maybe I don't know what you would do to address my complaints.
Yeah, I don't know. That's weird to me because this demo played fine.
Fine. It's just not
like if people didn't like it, it's too late for that. It's been delayed to April 14th. Thanks for that, Vincent. But again, it is PC, Xbox, and Game Pass, so maybe April will be a good month to pluck down $30 for Game Pass and get this and a bunch of other stuff. But I did have fun playing it. It does not have a spark that I was hoping it was going to have, but maybe in the final game it will. So I'm still excited for this game. I don't feel like there's any game that looks like it. That's for sure.
No, I mean, there's games that are similar. Not like that Last Night game that was made by the Chud dude.
Oh,
that never came out.
Right.
And I guess it kind of looks like Dead Cells to some. There's comparable stuff, but nothing doing this same sort of setting and storytelling.
But I'm sure watching this B-roll, you've noticed that it's just a whole lot of like striking and dodging and rolling.
Dyson says Steam Deck functionality. So
that's right. That is why it was delayed. Yeah, it just didn't work perfect on Steam Deck. Okay. Yeah, that's right.
What? Can you just give it to those of us who don't care about that?
Yeah, I mean, I don't need a Steam Deck. It's cool for me. But anyway, there you go. That is replaced. It is on my fantasy team, so I hope it ends up being a little bit better than what I just played. But I still enjoyed it. But I expected it to have.
I feel like the slice of this is pretty minor.
Yeah.
I feel like you don't get a huge taste of what the whole thing's going to be like. So I imagine it'll play better that way.
Yep. All right. Well, of course, we're at the end of the show, which means that there is just one thing left to do. That's right. It's time for Name That Game Tune right here on GameFace on SIFTD.net. I play 5 audio samples from a video game. You try to guess the name of the game before this dude who is on a complete tear. You are just crushing people. It's now my goal when I pick games for this to try to find games that he will not guess. So just know I'm working for the people here. I'm trying to get you guys. I
remember the time we tried to do that with Fortnite and I got it off the one shotgun blast.
That's right, which is crazy. A couple things before we get going. The chat does go into slow mode, so you can't spam the chat with game titles. Also, we've changed the game this year. You can keep playing. Every week you can play now. Only one person's won this year because Matt's just totally killing it. But even if you have won already this year, you can keep playing. And we're just going to keep a tally of how many times everybody has won. And whoever has won the most times by the end of the year, they will be crowned the champion. And then we'll give prizes out, maybe for the top 3. We'll figure that out when we get there. But anyway, we've changed things up for this year. One thing we haven't changed is how awesome the sponsor for this is. Soundwizardry.com. They are amazing. They are working right now, I guarantee you, on a Game of the Year contender. They've already worked on Game of the Year winners. If you're working on a game right now and your sound team isn't holding up their end of the bargain, contact soundwizardry.com. They can come in when you're planning a project, after the project is started. They've even come in when a project is like halfway done and the sound team sucks, and they come in and fix the problems. So contact Soundwizardry.com. They also do sound for shorts and films and TV shows and commercials and all that stuff too. Anything to do with audio, contact Soundwizardry.com.
Slagathor was correct. The Fortnite one I got because beforehand you told me it was a game you picked a game I would never play.
That's right. I gave you a hint on that.
You got to not talk.
It was still pretty impressive though that you got that.
Oh, I agree.
Yeah, I mean, YouTube crew, by the way, thank you. You guys were awesome today as always. But if you want to play Name That Game Tune, you got to head over to Twitch because we can only play with one chat because of the timing and everything. It just gets all messed up. We try to have two chats going at the same time. So head on over there and get ready. Let me get everything set up here with you, Matt. Let me get the volume turned up on the headphones. Is that good?
Yeah.
I can always tell if I can hear my voice echo. Okay, and I'm ready with the samples here. Are you ready to play Name That Game Tune? Are you guys ready to play Name That Game Tune? Beat this guy this time. Come on, people. You can do it. I believe in you. Yeah, Slagathor. Yeah, I gave up the hint. I'll never do that again. I just sit here and shut up now. All right. Here's the first sample. Make sure I got the chat all the way down. Yep. Here's the first sample in 3, 2, 1. Long one. Fable, no. Spider-Man, no. Hogwarts Legacy, no. Jedi Starfighter, no. Neo 3, no. Star Wars KOTOR, no. Biohazard, no. Star Wars Outlaws, no. Crimson Skies, no.
I'll give this one to you for free, folks. If it was Star Wars, I'd already have told you what it was, okay? Don't guess Star Wars. It's not Star Wars.
Force Unleashed, no. Indiana Jones, no. KOTOR 2, no. Force Unleashed, again, no. Jade Empire, no. Shadows of the Empire. Everyone's guessing Star Wars.
I mean, I know it sounds John Williams, but it isn't John Williams.
Yeah. And Shadow of the Empire, another one. Enter the Matrix, no. Shadows of the Empire, no. Ratchet & Clank Rift Apart, no. Guardians of the Galaxy, no. Resonance of Fate, no. Next, we'll test that with a clip from Star Wars Connect.
I mean, I did play that.
Traditionalist 101, thank you for the super chat over there on YouTube. You got in a little bit late, though. Batman AA, no. If Xbox becomes obsolete, should Sega try to make another console again? No. We'll answer that one for you, no.
No.
Thanks for getting that one in there, though. We appreciate it, brother. Any other guesses on that first one before we go to the second one? Going once.
The best guess on that was Spider-Man.
Going once.
Spider-Man 2 would be a good guess, too.
Going twice. Body Harvest, no.
Nah, music quality's too good to be on 64.
Okay. Yeah, yeah, you're right. The sound sounded too good. Arkham Origins, no.
It sounds familiar, but I can't. Advent Rising.
No. Going once. Lord of the Rings, Return of the King, no. Going once. Going twice. All right, here's the second one in 3, 2, 1. I'll play it again because it's short. Any guesses from that one? Dragon Quest 11, no. Bioshock, no. Outer Worlds, no. Harry Potter Philosopher's Stone, no. Blue Dragon, no. Yeah, wasn't a very good clue, but that's why it's number 2. I probably should have had that one 1 and the 1, 2. Somebody already asked for Ratchet & Clank Rift Apart. No. Sandland, no. Mass Effect, no. Singularity, no. Any last guesses before we move to the third one? Going once. Going twice. Sold! Here's the third one in 3, 2, 1. Not Wolfenstein. Mass Effect 2, no. Whiplash on PS2, nope. Infamous 2, no. Ratchet & Clank 2016, no. Guardians of the Galaxy, no. Dragon Age the Veilguard, no. Dragon Age 2, no. Starfield, no. Cameo, no. Nice, Corey. Pulling that Cameo out of there. Starfield, no. 2XKO, nope. Dark Void, no. Avowed, nope. Wall-E, wow. No, not Wall-E. I could see where you got that, though. Any last guesses on that third one?
Blasto.
No. Going once. Going twice. Okay. I really thought that one would give it away. It did not. Here's the fourth one. In 3, 2, 1. It's not Prey. Go.
Now go jump in a lake. Now go jump in a lake.
Not Haze.
Spider-Man the movie.
No. Was there a game based on the movie?
Oh yeah, several. Spider-Man 2 was considered the gold standard of controversial for Spider-Man until the Insomniac games.
Jaws Unleashed, no. Outcast, no. Evil Dead 2, no.
I know what this is, but I can't remember the title. Like, it's a game that wasn't Evil Dead and wasn't Spider-Man, but they got Bruce Campbell to do the narration and tutorial, and I can't remember what it was. It was like Dreamcast era.
Spider-Man 3, no. Maneater, no. Red Dead Redemption, no. Jedi Survivor, no. Fistful of Boomstick, no. Did I miss any there? No. Evil Dead 2.
No, I can't remember what it was. It was big deal they got him.
Another World, no. Headhunter, no. Any last guesses? Blue Stinger, no.
Yeah.
Classic.
I can see it. Like, I can see the game.
Oh, we have a winner. Rogerty. Spider-Man 2.
I said Spider-Man 2.
No, you didn't guess it. You said it sounds like it might be Spider-Man 2.
I said Spider-Man 2 is a good guess. Spider-Man 2.
Yeah, I didn't want to count that.
Oh, give me a break.
Seriously, though. Rogerty, you won. Finally, somebody got it. That wasn't Matt.
And then you asked if they were based on it. I said Spider-Man 2 was definitely this gold
No, I
standard
asked
of
if there. I
traversal.
didn't know that there was a Spider-Man game based on on a movie.
Spider-Man 2 is the game based on the movie.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, that's why
What,
Bruce Campbell...
what movie is it based on?
Spider-Man 2.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I never knew that, actually.
That's why it's Tobey Maguire voicing him.
I never knew that.
And Bruce Campbell doing the tutorial narration because Bruce Campbell was in the movie because Sam Raimi is friends with him.
That's hilarious.
They did games of all three of them.
I didn't know that any of those were based on films. I thought they were just separate stories.
No, the Raimi movies. That's
I didn't
what
know
they
that.
are.
I
Yeah.
never knew that. Interesting. But you're right. I was in a weird position because you said Spider-Man 2, but you didn't actually guess it. And so I'm sitting here and I didn't want to give it away, so I looked away from you and I'm like, is he going to guess it? Is he going to guess it? And then you didn't. And so I just let it go.
Yeah,
So-
like I said, it's Spider-Man 2 based on the movie. It was the definitive web swinging until.
No, I know the game. I
Yeah.
played the game. I just did not know the game's plot was based on a movie. I
Well,
thought they made up a plot for the game.
30% of the story is the movie, but the
I
rest.
played the game. I played all the Spider-Man games. I've played them. I don't know what you're talking about in chat. Look at this. What do you mean I lost street credibility? For not knowing it was a movie tie-in? Really? Okay,
What
whatever.
else would it
I
have
don't
been?
care.
It's the only reason they made it. But most of Spider-Man 2 is weird bullshit with Mysterio they made up for the game, but it is theoretically based.
See, that's why I never thought it was based on a movie.
you do fight Doc Ock in it.
You fight Doc Ock in every Spider-Man
right, but
game.
he's literally the Doc Ock from the movie in that. It's voiced by Tobey Maguire, which you could tell because he barely is awake the whole time. It's one of the worst. It's one of the worst voice performances of the era.
We got another super chat over on YouTube from Traditionalist 101. My apologies, just got off work. Totally cool.
Wolverine does not drop in that one. That's the one where the symbiotes take over the city later. Web of Shadows.
He's asking, why is competition good for the industry? Can you tell me why? And thanks. Of course we will. Because without competition, nobody has any incentive to improve. So we used this earlier we were talking about PlayStation 5, how it's had horrible first-party output, but it has no pressure to improve that because it's competing with Xbox, and Xbox is no longer a competitor. So PlayStation can do whatever it wants. People are going to continue buying the PlayStation 5, even though it's doing a bad job of putting out software for the PlayStation 5. Does that make sense?
I mean,
Anything you want to add?
Well, the problem is that there is no such thing as competition for PleStation right now.
Yeah.
No matter who you are.
Yeah. Although some people argued earlier that Switch 2 is legit competition, but I don't believe that at all.
I don't think Nintendo would agree with that.
Yeah.
They're clearly a different market.
Yeah. Well, maybe chat can decide if chat thinks that you won instead of Rogerty. I mean, we'll go with whatever the chat decides. If you guys think Matt should have won that, then we can give it to Matt.
I mean, Rogerty suggests sharing the victory, which is pretty much the same as just giving him a win on the column.
Yeah. So. Okay, that can work too. Because it doesn't matter. They're not trying to beat you. They're just trying to beat each other.
Yeah, they're trying to get on the board.
Yeah, and Rogerty finally got on the board. We have 2 people on the board now. Rogerty says Matt wins.
And
You're
I
a good
think
dude.
Silk Snake said that like he would have guessed Spider-Man 2 if I hadn't said that.
Oh, yeah.
before.
See, I was thinking about that too. I'm like, well, now is it taken off the board so people aren't guessing it? And then Rogerty got it, so he didn't think it was off the board. Anyway, I did the best that I could. It was an awkward situation. This game isn't perfect. Sometimes I just have to react on the fly to what happens. And I don't want to interact with you too much because that gives you clues. So that's why I was like, whip! And I just looked at the chat like immediately. Oh, okay. All right.
Maybe Spider-Man 3 didn't have a movie.
Really?
Game. Maybe. I wish it didn't have a movie. No, maybe Spider-Man 3 did. I don't remember Spider-Man 3 had a game tie-in. I think it did. But I think it sucked. They all kind of sucked.
Yeah. Well, Spider-Man 2, I thought it established how we were going to swing web.
Yeah, but that's it. The rest of the game is terrible.
Yeah, it really is.
Go back and try to play
No,
that.
I know
Other
it
than
is.
that, like those Mysterio boss levels are just the same old licensed garbage as everything else.
Yeah.
So.
All right. That's going to do it for GameFace episode 469 right here on Sifted at sifted.net. Another reminder, we are supported pretty much 100% at patreon.com/sifted. Head on over there. If you pledge $5 or more per month, you get all our content early. You get this show several days early. You don't get TLDR quite as long, delay is quite as long for TLDR because we want our YouTube people to be able to consume that in a timely manner. But pretty much all our content packed or factory, you get a week early. All our other stuff at least 3 or 4 days early. It's a nice little thing there. If you can help us out, we'd really appreciate it. And if you don't have any money, you can help us out if you're an Amazon Prime subscriber. If you're watching on YouTube, go down below and figure out how to connect your Amazon account to your Twitch Prime account. Connect those two together. You can give us a free $2.50 every month. And you do have to re-up it every month, and that is a pain in the butt. We totally get it. But to give us a free $2.50, it takes like 5 seconds. So it'd be cool if you could do that. And if you can't do that, and a lot of people are no longer Amazon Prime subscribers because the price keeps going up, you can still help us out just by liking the show, retweeting the show when we tweet it out, leaving comments on the show, sharing it with your friends, sharing it on social media. Even with no money and no Amazon Prime, you can still help us out a ton. One thing I can promise before we leave is that absolutely next week is going to be Resident Evil week.
The Bruce Campbell thing I couldn't remember that he did a voice in the game was Tachyon the Fringe.
Ah, interesting.
Goes way back.
Okay. But anyway, next week, Resident Evil Requiem. As you probably saw today, the embargo did not break for the reviews of Resident Evil, so I have to keep it under my hat for now.
Yes, tomorrow.
But we'll be back on next Tuesday, right here at twitch.tv/SiftedGames at 1 p.m. Pacific, 4 p.m. Eastern, and we will review the brand new mainline Resident Evil right here on GameFace. So everybody, have yourselves an awesome week filled with awesome games. GameFace is up and out.